let the nerds take over.
Us? Huh?
It's gonna get a little weird, gonna get a little wild. I ain't from around here, I'm from another dimension. Gonna get a little weird, gonna have a good time. I ain't from around here.
Welcome to Nerdables to episode 132. This week we are celebrating our third anniversary, so we have brought Travis back to
Woohoo! We made it 3 months, guys.
3 months.
Well, no, 3 months was the last time he was on.
Yeah,
Was
Star
it 3
Wars.
months?
The
last time?
3 month, no, the 3 month show. That was
The
it.
3 month show
That's the
in
last time.
2013.
Wow. As you can tell, we have Chris, Sebastian, Mikey, Travis, Shauna, and Ethan all here with myself. I figured what we'll do this episode is we'll do a get to know me episode where we'll give some of our favorite movies, superhero things like that. Because I don't
Yeah,
think.
because after 3 years, nobody knows who the hell we are.
Well, Shauna and Sebastian have never gotten to do that. We don't know anything that Sebastian likes. So
I don't
thought-
think Sebastian knows anything that
There-
Sebastian
yeah.
likes.
I've known the man for over 10 years. I don't know what he likes.
Everything pre 1993.
So much and so little.
So I thought we would take care of
It's so
doing that,
mysterious.
but there is a couple little tidbits in the news that I thought we would.
Timbits.
Tidbits.
Timbits are awesome.
Tidbits.
Who doesn't like tidbits?
I want Timbits.
I want kitten bits.
I want Tim Tams.
No.
Tim Tam. Oh, I gotta,
What?
You got a Tim Tam Slam. You don't know what a Tim Tam
Shamalama
is?
ding
No,
dong.
yes,
But
it's from Australia.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
yes,
you can
it
do
is.
the Tim Tam Slam where you take a drink through the Tim Tam.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's got a hollow center, so you can like drink coffee or chocolate milk through it.
Or
It's really
Kahlua.
good. If you want.
If you drink.
So wait, how many people had Tim Tams actually from Australia besides me?
The
Looks
like
crickets
it's
are
They
palpable.
sell them at,
Well,
they,
I guess
they
it
sell
was
them at
just
the
you.
British. They sell them at the British shop near my house.
Are they
And
actually from
they're
Australia though?
imported, so
Okay, they
I
probably
presume
are.
Yeah,
they're-
Swedish.
There's a company called
Same picture
Arnott's
there.
that sells it out here, but they're not actually from Australia, so the chocolate's different.
They're from Australia, but they're sold at the British shop.
Yeah,
Well,
but it may
yeah,
not
because
be from.
Australia is the expat Brits.
And it's also because the chocolate in America is artificial, whereas the chocolate everywhere else is.
Speaking of Brits,
Idris Elba.
Doctor
Oh, no.
Who just
My bad.
got a new companion. Yes, Pearl Mackie is the new Doctor Who companion, so we'll get to see her for the Christmas special, and then we'll see her in 2017 for the 10th season, which may be Peter Capaldi's last season.
Oh, that's a shame.
And it will definitely be Stephen Moffat's last season.
Yay!
Oh, that's a real shame.
The reign of terror has
I mean,
ended.
You know what? Actually, I'm glad you're here for this one, Travis, because I know how much you hate Stephen Moffat. I know. Oh, sorry, Shauna, as I knock her in the head.
How
I
many
know-
times are you going to hit Shauna with shit?
That's like 3 that you've cheated
Jeez.
on her.
And
Poor woman is going to sue.
Do you want to switch seats? Good lord.
I'm dead.
and I know that Sebastian does not like Stephen Moffat. So,
He had his place in time.
are you guys
And
glad
then
we're
overstayed his welcome.
Are you guys glad we're getting a new showrunner,
Yes.
Yep.
Sebastian?
Yes.
Are you looking forward to seeing what Moffat brings for 2000 over season 10, which will be his last?
2022.
Like anything, I'll check it out. But it's I agree with Travis. For me, he's overstayed his welcome because especially when he blew all his creative juices
Load.
onto season 5, then everything after that's just been really, really prolonged.
Did season?
It's
season,
just it's like watching a car that's doing barrel roll after barrel roll, slowly
barrel
get
roll.
to the end.
Do a
and it's
barrel
dead.
roll. Did season 5 had the doctor's wife in it? The episode where the TARDIS gets a physical body, or was that season 6?
That may be season 6. But
See, that was a
Neil
great, that was a
Gaiman
good episode.
That was
But
Neil Gaiman.
That was I was going to say it was Neil
It
Gaiman who
wasn't
wrote it.
Stephen Moffat, so
But he
it was
ran
good.
it.
Yes.
So for you that hate Stephen Moffat, do you guys like Sherlock?
Yes.
I actually like Sherlock, but it's also he partners with Mark Gatiss on those, and he doesn't
Okay.
write all the episodes.
Okay.
And there's only 3 of them a season, so
The
you can't-
Doctor's Wife is the 4th episode of the 6th season,
Yes.
or series if you're Brit.
What's a series? So seasons.
So-
So call it a series.
So Travis, are you going to return to Doctor Who after Moffat leaves?
Of course, as soon as he's gone, I'm going to check it out and see if it's gotten better.
Okay.
But until he's gone, I'm just going to assume it's a snail's pace to death.
Because I know that David Tennant was your favorite Doctor,
I love David.
but have you checked out any of the Capaldi stuff?
Yes, I have.
And
We actually discussed. There was I caught the the Orient Express in
Yes.
space.
Oh, that's right. You did.
And I was actually, wait, Capaldi's pretty good, and this was actually a pretty good episode.
The Christmas episode they just did was very good, and it tied up all of the loose ends from the library episode with David Tennant.
Stephen Moffat tying up loose ends.
I know.
Next, you'll be telling me J.J. Abrams will be tying up loose ends.
No, he's just using lens flare.
No, River Song got her sonic
She got
screwdriver
the
in it.
Sonic Screwdriver. It was actually a really good episode. And
Yeah.
I feel like this is sort of like why wasn't this episode not only earlier, but why wasn't that the closeout to his tenure?
That should have been. To me, that should have been the end of it. I agree with you. And then start 2010 or start series 10 with somebody new. Which, by the way, they are postponing Doctor Who season 10 because of the Summer Olympics next year. Or no, excuse me, this year.
In Rio?
Yes, because they figured that because BBC
All
One,
the athletes are going to be poisoned in the water?
well, no, BBC One will be having a lot of coverage on it, so they didn't
Sure.
want to take away from Stephen Moffat's Swan Song season with
Well, that's the real question. Is Stephen Moffat just going to like go for broke and go ape shit and just throw everything at the wall? Or is he just going to slowly crawl into his grave on this last season?
But he already did that with season 5.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be weird to see how fans react to not having a full year of Doctor Who.
I think it'll be a pleasant reprise.
They have to
think
wait
they'll
for
be- I
3
think-
episodes
I
of
think they'll be okay. They
fucking
waited
Sherlock.
That's
something
true.
like 18
They can
years
wait.
Which
between
season
the
4
end
of
one
Sherlock?
series
Right.
and the beginning of the Christopher Eccleston season. They can wait.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and we do have 3 episodes of Sherlock season 4 coming
Oh,
up.
sweet, sweet Sherlock.
Yeah, as a Rick and Morty fan and a Venture Brothers fan, especially, I go, it's like, oh, you poor dear, you have to wait 1 year.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are shows. If you watch,
At least you know it's coming, unlike with most Venture Brothers seasons, where the end of the season is sort of like you don't know if Doc and Jackson are actually going to do another one, and then wait a year and a half. Like, what the hell? We'll do 7, 8 more episodes. Go for it.
I'd
Why
say it'll
not?
be back by the end. By
What's that?
fall.
They will.
Winter
You know, the
this year.
last few seasons they've said there's definitely another season,
Yeah.
but it was like I think at the end of season 3, no one knew whether they were going
Oh,
to
it
do
was.
4.
Yeah.
I thought it was over.
Yeah, and then at 4, it was kind of the same thing.
It was like, oh, we're done.
I think it was the season ender for 5. It says on it that Venture Brothers will return with the season 6, but there was obviously no date or anything for
You know,
it.
nobody knew when if that show was ever coming back after the pilot episode, The Terrible Secret of Turtle Bay.
Yeah.
Because I remember watching that like freshman year of high school, and then 2 or 3 years later, there's an actual season 1 going. Why do I remember this?
Well, I'm going to make another segue off of this because speaking of things that you don't know if coming back or if they're going to return or not. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., has said he's going to return, and now it is official, returning as Iron Man in the new Spider-Man film.
All I hear is cash register.
Yeah.
Cash register.
That's all those people that said that Robert Downey Jr. is not going to do Iron Man again.
Well,
He's not going to do Iron Man again. Yeah, until Disney stops backing up Brinks trucks to his house.
Yes.
I
He's
don't
gonna
think
keep doing it.
I don't think we'll see another
I
Iron
don't think
Man
he has
movie.
an interest of doing another Iron Man movie. He'd
Well,
rather
he's-
do
He's already said
other
that if-
movies and just cameo in them.
Yeah, because it's the same thing.
But he's already said if somebody presents a good enough Iron Man 4, he'll do it too.
But it's kind of the same thing with when Matthew McConaughey was offered Dark Tower, he refused it because he'd rather do the Man in Black version or Man in Black, character because he only had to be there for less than 3 or 4 weeks. Whereas if he did the Gunslinger, he'd have to be there for 4 months. Same thing here. Robert Downey Jr. can go in and do 2 weeks worth of Iron Man stuff in another movie, still continue on the character, and doesn't have to, hold out, 4 or 5 months just for
Right.
that one
Yeah,
part.
until he
then
dies in Infinity War Part 1.
Which you can't wait for.
Be like Han Solo or Harrison Ford
Just
dying.
kill
You're damn right. That's exactly
Just
what
kill
it
me.
is.
Just kill me.
Well, we're
Just
not
kill me.
like going with the illusion that any of the original Avengers are going to make it through Infinity War.
Oh, I think in the end they'll only kill one of them.
Oh, really?
I think you the stakes that you give are in the first film when you kill whoever you decide to kill, and I've always said that it's going to be Tony Stark. And then the second film, maybe some secondary one, you see Hawkeye or one of them die. But I think out of that triumvirate, only one of them will disappear.
I still say
So you can use them going forward.
I still say Cap dies at the end of Cap 3. He's brought back in the second.
Oh, you think they're going to go with the straight up? Civil
I
War
think they
ending
will.
Where he dies on the
I
steps of
think
the-
that they will.
Well, you can use the Infinity Gauntlet and rewrite reality.
Yeah,
and
there's
and
a
have
couple of
different-
different steps
have
that
new
you can
different
use.
actors
You
play
can
those
bring-
Which is,
characters again.
which is
Yeah.
something else they've already said. They're
Yeah.
not afraid to recast actors in the roles of the
Yep.
characters. So none of those
Yeah.
characters will ever die because they'll just have multiple actors playing them.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they would go with the idea of using different characters. You know, if they decide to kill Chris Evans as Cap,
You do
using Bucky as Cap for a movie or two, I don't think is a terrible
Why
idea.
not Anthony Mackie as Cap? for
Well, that would be
film?
your
Yeah,
next
that
step
too.
after.
You can
Yeah.
use Falcon or whatever.
Falco Cap.
Oh, sorry. I'll tell you the Anthony Mack story later. It's something with it that happened on Friday. It just makes me laugh every time I hear his name now.
Apparently. But yeah, I think that's the route that they're going to go. Is you bring Cap, but because you do a big
You do
impact
little
in this one.
cameos but
Yeah.
you break up the team so new teams start up.
Yeah.
But
Oh
you
yeah.
break
Sure.
up so you can have somebody visit. And
Well,
say
Chris
hi.
Evans has already said that the Captain America role is probably the best role he'll ever have. And
But he's also said that he doesn't want to do it anymore and he wants to just go into directing. And
Right.
go back.
Yeah,
No,
they
he-
all
he-
they all
he-
say
he
that.
walked, he walked back on that already too because he's like, I can do these movies, make money, and work on my personal projects on
Exactly.
the side.
Yeah.
which is basically
That's
the
what
George Clooney thing.
RDJ is doing it too.
Yeah, George Clooney. Well, see, that's just it with Robert Downey Jr. He has his own production company.
Yeah.
you know.
He and his wife are cracking out their Oscar
Everybody
nominee films.
has their own
And
production.
Yeah, well,
And
I
then
mean, he
money
did
with
Due
that.
Date
And then
and
when
all
they
those other
officially get
movies.
tired, they just cast somebody else as Steve Rogers and as Tony
Yeah.
Stark,
Uh-huh.
and nobody's going to complain. Everyone's going to.
That is true.
Generations will have their own, like, oh, well, my favorite Tony Stark is always going to be Robert Downey Jr., and then
But you know what?
Somebody else
I
is gonna
think I
go,
think
"Oh,
I
Roger
think
Moore's always my
audiences
favorite
now
Bond."
accept
it is
changing
gonna
over
turn
the
into Bond,
actor.
isn't it?
yeah, and that's
Totally gonna be
fine.
Bond.
That's absolutely fine because that doesn't bother people as much as a lot of the industry thinks it will.
Well, the thing with like James Bond, it's like with Doctor Who, is that people watch the movie or the series, knowing that they're gonna change the actor who plays the main
Right.
character.
Well, it's with James Bond, it's a code name or a moniker,
No,
not
it's not.
the name of the person.
No, it's a name. It's the
that's
same
his
person.
name.
I think it matters with how often they change it.
Eon
Like if
has
it's like
always
the
said
Hulk,
that
where they
it's
keep
not
on
a code
changing
name,
it
and it'll never be a code
year after
name.
year.
Mm.
Yeah, but
Or
There's
movie
too
after
many
movie.
links between
Don't-
all the
wait,
movies.
stop, Travis. Don't argue with him with Bond.
You don't know Bond.
Just trust me.
You know nothing.
Don't argue.
Travis,
Ryan
run
Berkeley's
now!
son!
Don't argue Ghostbusters
Wow,
or
it got loud.
or Bond.
You know nothing,
With
Travis
Sebastian.
Jones.
You know
It's like when
nothing.
someone at work tried to
Shame.
argue dinosaurs with me. I'm like, just stop, just go away.
Just don't even bring it up.
No, come on.
Look, the way it is audiences will accept it as long as the film is good. We've seen this with Batman films. Everybody's had, Batman has changed more times than not now. I mean, it's gotten
Batman's
to
a code name because
It's a-
Val Kilmer is the greatest Batman ever.
be, but it's just it. Everybody has their favorite Batman.
That's how dumb those people sound when they
I
say
like
James
that.
Bond is a code name.
Mm.
That's you. That's you over there.
So, anyways,
Roger Moore doesn't look like Daniel Craig.
wow.
Because Daniel
He
Craig
does
is
it?
the only Bond who's not tied to the others.
I think the only
New
other
universe. New universe. They've already said that.
news to really report is that
They've said the next Bond will be the same Bond as Daniel
that
Craig.
Inhumans has lost its
Inhumans is dead.
it's lost its date. They have
No, it's
officially,
gone. It's gone.
It was
You know,
called.
Kevin Feige was like, I want nothing to do with this crossover BS.
It was
And
called
that
here.
television guy is a moron. And as soon as he went into Disney and was like, I'm not having it, and Disney was like, actually, we agree with you. He was like, done. Inhumans Act by.
Well, it's also the fact they crammed 2 more films into that release slate, and that's the weekend that Indy 5 is now supposed
Yes,
to
it
open.
is.
Sweet, sweet Indy 5.
And
Crystal
well,
Skull
but
Part 2.
they've already said there's supposed to be 3 other Marvel movies coming out in 2020.
Now with extra refrigerators.
I have a
You
feeling.
said it. Now it's true.
I have a feeling, and you guys can say I'm wrong, but I have a feeling there's going to be some type of Fantastic Four movie in 2020, or an X-Men movie coming up soon. That is a Marvel X-Men movie. And you may say I'm wrong.
I don't know about
I don't think you're going to see a Marvel X-Men movie.
You may
anytime
have
soon.
something with the Fantastic Four because that
Yeah.
that thing has been dug so far into the ground. They're pulling diamonds out of its ass at this point.
I don't think it
No.
has to
Whereas
do with.
they're
I don't think it
pulling
has to
coal.
do.
They're pulling
pulling
pure
coal.
coal.
I don't
Too
think
late.
it has to do
And
with being
shit.
bad or
But
good
with the
franchise
X-Men,
anymore.
no. But with the X-Men, they actually have
That makes too
a
much.
solid
Yeah, that makes
head of steam going
that makes way too much money for 20th Century Fox to give it.
to let them
And
just
again,
go like, wait,
here's the
there
thing though. This
one
is
thing that's working.
Yeah.
this is the argument that I've said for a while now. There's a point where Disney cannot have everything because they're just going to compete against themselves. So make quality films. Let other people make films that are not as quality as yours. Fantastic Four I could see because Fox would just, at this point, Fox is losing money because not only are they losing money in the film itself, but they're losing money because they continue to pay Marvel for the rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So somewhere there, they could give the rights back. I don't think Disney Marvel Films is counting on getting Fantastic Four, and honestly, I don't think they care. There's 3 films on that slate because Marvel is sitting there saying, we made a movie about a bunch of idiots in space that ends with a dance-off, and we made a whole bunch of
Made a
cash.
ton of money.
So we can make whatever we want, and we can make it whenever we want. The thing with Inhumans, when they first announced that slate, I said I could totally see this movie never happening. And when people said, no, it's on the slate, it's on the slate. They announced that slate in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
That movie's 4.5 years away after they did the event at the El Capitan.
Can't make Spider-Man.
There's
Chris,
so
it's not
much
on the
time.
slate.
Exactly. And that's
Can't make
what
Spider-Man.
you can't
No
make
room for
Ant-Man
it.
2. I said it at the time. There's so much that can change. The Spider-Man thing I didn't think would happen, but I said you've got 3 new films in here in Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man, which can have sequels fast-tracked. We've already seen it with Netflix.
Right.
Daredevil comes out, and we said we're going to do Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and then Defenders.
And that'll be it.
Daredevil comes out, and they said, no, we're going to do Daredevil, we're going to do Jessica Jones, and then we're going to do Daredevil 2, and then we're going to do Luke Cage. So
And then-
it's
yeah.
a moving slate. So as soon as Kevin Feige said 2 weeks ago that they were shuffling off that date because Indy 5 was going to be in the middle of it, and they didn't exactly know where they were going, I wasn't surprised at all. It was something I said a long time ago, and now Disney has finally confirmed what Feige said 2 weeks ago, that Inhumans is still in pre-production, and that we don't know when it's going to come out.
I really don't
You
think.
just-
I don't
ever
think
is.
it comes out at all.
I don't think it's going
But
to
you
happen.
know-
I
but
said
you know
it when
what
it
you
came out.
do?
If I could see any Marvel movie that isn't going to be done, I looked at that slate and said, "There's no way they're going to cancel Doctor Strange because it was too soon."
Well, yeah.
Captain Marvel, I'm like, they're going to get on that train at some point. Marvel is going to make a film that stars a female superhero,
Yep.
and they're going to make it because not only do they think it's going to be a good film, but I think they think it's going to be an important film for them in some way. So those aren't going anywhere. You had Ant-Man, which was already in production, so that wasn't going anywhere. I looked at that entire slate and said the only thing here that I think is going to disappear, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a no-brainer. And the last
Obviously.
part of Thor is a no-brainer because that was the story they wrote in 2, was we know we need one more.
Yep. You have to close out the story.
So I thought that movie would disappear. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to do every single Inhumans piece into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And who knows, maybe if you decide we're not going to do that film, now you can use the royal family in season 4 of S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever. At some
Whatever
point
the
when
hell
you
you
come
got,
back to
yeah.
the Inhumans thing, use the royal family there and let that suck ass on TV
Mm-hmm.
and be done
Mhm.
with it.
You put the Inhumans in the Fantastic Four movie.
You can
There
do that
you
too.
go. There
You could do
go.
that. Well, because James Gunn came out and said that he would love to have access to some of the villains from the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Yeah, and Disney
Because
looked
he'd
at
love
James
to do
Gunn
it
and
in
said,
Nihilus
"No."
or
Yeah,
Kang or some of the others.
Exactly. Disney said not until we get the rights back.
"Yeah, shut up."
Is anybody watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah.
No.
Why?
It's much, much, much better. No, it's actually become a good show.
Good stuff. It's
You
become-
didn't? Did you see the last episode?
I haven't watched it in 4 weeks,
We'll see. That's
so I haven't watched anything except for Flash. I haven't watched anything.
Don't worry, I haven't watched it in 2 years.
it.
fine. Ethan, your quota is Walking Dead. That's it. And well, maybe Game of Thrones. Speaking of which, Game of Thrones returns tonight.
Does.
Yay.
Everybody's had their parties. Facebook has changed their layout for Game of Thrones.
Stayed off of Facebook today because of that reason.
Everybody dies
Just
in the
read the
first
books, and you won't ever have to worry about spoilers.
I,
Also, read the books, and you'll never ever have to worry about it.
I've
ending.
read the first 3. I mean, there's still things that I think can be brought back from the books that they.
As I
haven't
said, he's never going to do that book.
done. Okay,
So
so
Vegas.
um,
Wasn't that one more? Didn't we say there was one more thing to talk about?
I think that was it.
No, that was it.
Michael Keaton's off of Spider-Man.
Michael Keaton is off of Spider-Man. He's not going to be a villain.
I'm surprised.
bummed.
Yeah, I wanted to see the Batman versus Spider-Man film, but then they decided to cancel it. I don't know why.
That would have been cool.
Wait. But Spider-Man's mom's not named Martha, so how are they gonna?
Although I did think of another one he could play. He could have
Friends.
played the chameleon.
May was short for Martha. So.
Oh, okay.
That was
Bam!
May
That's
short.
not his
That
mom,
makes sense
but
now.
That was
it's
May
Suzanne.
short.
Now they can be best friends.
He's reaching.
Can I say how surprised everyone at work is when they come in and find out that I haven't seen Batman versus Superman? So Batman, so
Don't.
it's Batman versus Superman. Did you see it? No. What?
They're
I'm like,
surprised because they don't have somebody to share the misery.
Yeah.
Misery.
and that's
of
when they asked
hell
me,
and
like, why
shit
haven't you
that
seen
movie
it? And I
was.
said, I don't have 3 hours to
waste
devote
of
to
my
something that
life.
everyone that I know has seen it has said is a complete and
Oh,
utter
it's a complete
turd
It
I
is
just
a complete
set on
another
fire.
piece of shit.
with more turds thrown into the fire.
They can't
Right
be,
after.
They can't be happy unless somebody else is miserable along with them. So
That's
just
true.
saw. I just
you
saw
ha-
the
you have
Jungle
to go
Book
see
Friday
Batman
night.
versus Superman.
That's
Jungle
all
Book
last
was awesome.
night.
That is an
It-
amazing movie.
Which
It
one?
was good.
Jungle Book.
I
This
I've
it
heard
was
nothing
odd
but
with-
good things.
it was odd with the movement of the mouths of live, CG animals compared to
realistic, realistic
realistic
animals.
looking animals. Because I hate that shit in commercials. I'm so tired of it. So
But-
it worked fine. It just is odd.
But
I
they
think-
did it. I think they did it very well. Where because it wasn't like they were every word was mouth.
No,
No,
So
and it wasn't an
They also
exaggerated.
exaggerated the designs just enough to break
Yeah.
the uncanny valley because they didn't look like especially when you look like Shere Khan. He looks like a tiger, but he doesn't look like a normal regular
Yeah,
tiger.
and obviously they did that with King Louis too. King Louis,
yeah.
Spoilers: King Louis is ginormous.
right.
But see,
About
that was.
6 times the size of a real.
But he's
a real
not
orangutan.
supposed to be a real orangutan because
Right, that's what I'm saying. He's so huge.
well, but even they because they were talking about this on Good Morning America that there was a species of orangutan that is a ginormous from India that not that big, but it
I was
was.
going to say
yeah.
it's
It
two
was.
stories
It was
tall.
like no, it was like three or four times larger than a regular orangutan.
The odd thing with
Still, that's not that big.
we'll go in and let's do the Jungle Book for a little. I like it. Looks gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the story to me is almost a little lacking because it's just like
I think
Boom,
because you
boom,
know it
boom.
already.
there's some
Yeah,
of
I
it
think
is
that's
that.
why.
Obviously the ending's very different.
Yeah, I was
Um,
surprised they went that way.
Yeah, and
I like
the-
the way they did it.
Ka just disappears after her
Yeah.
only appearance, really quick.
Well, she's
that was
only
a
in
shame.
like one other appearance.
True, she-
Well, in the if you're going with
Ka's
the
not in it
and that's the
long,
I've never read the book, so I don't know how close this is to the book versus what the original Disney animation project is. In the original Disney animation, Ka does show back up because Shere Khan is hunting him.
but
So
Shere Khan,
Ka was supposed to hold him for Shere Khan to show up. Shere Khan finds
Yeah.
Ka because that's when he grips her
Yeah,
and then lets her go, and she has that accordion
yeah.
look to her.
No. Because I just watched it. I literally came home and watched the movie right after it. She is holding him for Khan, but that's her one appearance in it. Is that whole thing? Because Khan doesn't show up until like almost halfway to 3/4 of the film through. You don't see him at all in that book. I mean, matter of fact, Baloo shows up before Shere Khan does.
Oh yeah, Baloo shows up way early.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that goes on at the beginning of the movie.
It's a lot.
Here.
Well,
Yeah, his,
there's
his,
a lot of
his
things that happen in
origin,
animated
the
movie.
wolves are barely in the
wolves are barely in it.
animation versus this one.
There's
But no,
a
it
lot
was-
of things that
It
are.
was a gorgeous movie. It was done really well. My favorite part is how they call King Louis because of who does the voice of King Louis.
yes.
Do they call him with more cowbell?
Yep.
That's awesome.
He picks up a cowbell and he rings the cowbell.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't even put that together until
Yep.
now.
Well,
That's
Favreau
As soon as-
said
when he picks it up and he does the thing, and under my breath, like, gotta have more cowbell, like right in the theater.
need more
Favreau
cowbell.
said that there is a ton of Easter eggs in this.
Yeah.
There, obviously, when Mowgli
Favreau
falls
likes his
into the ravine, and they have all of
Oh,
the,
that was a huge Lion King.
that was
right there. I
Lion
like,
King. Towards the end, there was a shot of Pumbaa and Timon together. Then there was also when all the animals are
Iron
coming.
Man made an appearance somehow.
I was
Iron Man
expecting
flies
that.
over the jungle.
I was expecting that at one
Just
point.
fires
Carpet
Unsung
bombing the
hero
whole-
of
Yeah,
the
just
Jungle
fires
Book,
his
Iron
rockets at Shere Khan.
When all of the animals head towards the Peace Rock, it looks like the exactly.
Oh, there's a ton. There is so much Lion King in
Yeah.
that between not only the the Stampede scene, the Peace Rock scene, but also what Shere Khan does in taking over the Wolf Pride.
Yeah.
It's just the hyenas and the lion pride.
Yep.
So there's a lot of those kind of callbacks to it. Like I said, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
I
it
just hope
was-
this thing doesn't get forgotten when Oscar time comes around. Because even the kid, this was like one of his first roles, and I thought he was brilliant.
I thought it was good. Yeah.
I mean,
I
for a
don't know
kid,
about Oscar. But
well, I don't know him for an
no,
Oscar,
just in general, but
but
visual effects maybe.
Visual
I
effects.
wouldn't
yeah.
be surprised if it's one of those situations where it's like it doesn't get any of the directing, story.
No, it'll be a
acting,
visual
but
thing.
It'll
Yeah.
be, it'll be all the technical awards.
Because I think the general consensus is kind of a lot of theories. Like, it's really good. It's probably better than it should be. But I don't know if anybody walked out of it going, that's one of the best films I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
entire life. Except as a visual piece.
Yeah.
what's her name that plays Maz in Star Wars?
Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes.
Nyong'o.
She plays the his mother, the female
Wolf.
wolf. Yes, what's her name? I forget.
Raksha or Laksha?
Raksha.
Raksha.
She plays she plays Raksha in it, and
His mom.
during the scene where where the kid has to say goodbye to Raksha and does the whole thing where he puts
Yeah.
his head on her, she came in and did the whole dots, the whole makeup and everything for him.
capture.
She did the whole motion capture for him on set, whereas a lot of the other times he was
She's done it too.
yeah, but it was also
Yeah, she's done playing actual roles where you can see her.
Well, no.
She's only doing characters. She's only doing computer generated.
But for a kid that's never really
She just
acted
came over
before
from
to
Star
do
Wars. She didn't
nothing
get out
but
of there.
CG, interact with CG characters, that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it was all shot in L.A.
Hey, when you have a kid and their imagination is already that high, it's not that hard. The kid has a really good imagination.
It's
not-
still,
it's
it's
not-
still.
I mean, how
because
old
the
is
big
he?
worry is usually like child actors don't act very well, and they can usually be the death of your movie. But every so often, you get the one who's really good.
Yeah, well, that's why you cast a kid like this in this
Yeah.
movie, and they stayed true. They got an Indian actor to play it, which I thought was
I'm playing it right now.
I thought it was a brilliant film.
we go.
Okay,
I'm
so
going to play in the Jungle Book. My friend is a bear. Has anyone been to India? Are there actually bears all over India? I don't know.
okay, so let's get cheesy. So
Let's
if
get
you had
cheesy.
a
No, we're getting hostful.
We're getting hostful.
we cut that out, remember?
We can never let you
Those
Just
forget.
7
back
minutes
in.
never go away.
You will
Speaking of
never
which, did
forget your
anyone listen?
misgivings.
Did anyone listen to the new theme song, the opening I sent everybody?
Yeah, it sounded really like AM radio.
Really?
On time radio.
No, it wasn't.
It was like through a tunnel and we
It's actually
started
it's actually one of the Disney shows.
So we just stole something from
It
Disney.
So we just
Well,
stole shit. Okay, great.
It was
Cool.
courtesy of them.
Yes, I'm sure Disney will see it that way.
It was courtesy.
Quote
yes.
unquote.
I can hear
courtesy.
their
I'm giving-
lawyers
I'm sure the-
arming the doors.
Yeah, I'm
right
sure
now.
the courtesy of the cease and desist letter will be very nice too.
I'm getting.
Thank you so
giving
much
them
for
props,
stealing
so-
our information.
So, anyways, if you had a superpower, what would it be, Chris? Only one superpower.
Not getting a cease and desist letters from Disney. With that one.
That in the end, that is
impossible.
the greatest superpower. Is like
To get one or not
So
get one.
useful.
complete legal immunity.
I can
That's
do whatever I want,
like the bad guy. in Lethal Weapon 2.
Diplomatic immunity.
which is such BS.
I've never seen Lethal Weapon.
Oh!
You never seen? Wait, you never seen Lethal Weapon 2 either?
She hasn't seen any of the Lethal Weapons.
Oh my
What did you? What have you done with your life?
I was very, very sheltered growing
She
up.
watches anime.
So my superpower is to make Shauna watch movies.
there you
that's,
go.
that's the one
There
I
you
want.
go.
Travis, what's yours?
Anyway, I got to throw that on the list.
It's always been flight.
Flight.
Since I was a little kid, it's always been flight.
Mikey, what's yours?
I'll take teleportation without having to know necessarily where I'm going.
So blindlessly teleport.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I
because
mean,
they
if-
always
if
talk
I-
about
okay.
you have to have chick
Oh,
split. You have
shit,
to
there's
see
If I go,
where
okay,
you're going.
Russia.
You have to see it, yeah, or whatever.
I'm not saying Siberia, but Russia, like
You don't
in
want to
front of the
drop in the
KGB.
middle
That's
of
where
the
you're
Kremlin.
ending up. You're ending up. In
No, I think what he
Siberia.
means is that you don't have to like Nightcrawler can
You
only
don't have
teleport
to
to
see
someplace that he
point.
knows to
Yeah,
see. He's seen
right.
it before. He can't just go like, "Oh, I've never been inside that room. I know exactly where I am."
We know Ethan's
Yeah.
is watching Walking Dead 24/7.
Good job, E.
Sometimes the stupidest shit comes out of your mouth.
What do you think Rich's superpower is?
stupid shit coming out of
Ow.
mouth.
That was loud. Okay, so what's your superpower, Ethan?
Apparently watching Walking Dead 20.
Shut up. What's your fucking...
time travel?
Ooh. Way to destroy the known fabric, space, and time.
Yeah.
No, that's only to go back and start Walking Dead. So
There you go. There you go.
He wants to create it. Sebastian?
Specifically having access to the Speed Force, like the Flash.
Oh man.
Because it's not super speed necessarily, because he taps into the Speed Force. He can use the Cosmic Treadmill to time travel. He can move at the speed of light.
Right.
He can phase through objects. So.
look at Sebastian getting all
He can
greedy.
get the kinetic
He's
energy.
getting all
and make things
greedy.
Explode.
Right.
Sure.
He can phase through anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I mean, it's
it always
endless.
feels like the most use. That for me is like most useful superpower. But then if I'm gonna double up, then Doc Ock Arms is my number 2.
Oh, nice.
You can't double up. We
Mostly
didn't call
because-
doubling
He's really
up.
fast. He can build them very quickly.
That's not really superpower. That's
That's not really a
scientific,
superpower,
It's
but
a
that's
gadget.
that's one of those things. Like because I'm not a tall guy, I was like, you know, what'd be useful. Doc Ock
Not a tall guy.
You just reach top shelves on stuff. If you have stuff in your arms, you got extra arms. It's great.
You can bring all the
Nice.
groceries in on
That
one
is the
trip.
greatest understatement I've ever heard. Not a tall guy, considering that a week and a half ago
I can also
he
become
met my
taller.
best friend's son, who's not 18 months, and I
He's
looked at
like-
him
he's
and I
like-
looked at
he's
Sebastian
like
and
3
said,
feet tall
"Sebastian,
already."
he's almost as tall as you.
Oh.
He's a beast. He is a beast."
Shauna, what's your superpower?
See, I would like to have flight, just like Travis, but honestly, I just want to be Kryptonian. That's my.
That's acceptable.
That's
I
acceptable.
want to be Kryptonian.
Born
Well, on
Kryptonian.
Earth.
Wait, wait, wait.
physiology.
So do you
Yeah.
want to
That's
be?
physiology.
Do you want to be Sci-Fi Channel prequel Krypton show that they're
living
producing?
on Krypton.
Nobody wants that
So
crap.
no
No.
What the
powers.
hell are you
A Kryptonian
talking about?
living on Earth.
The Sci-Fi Channel has just announced
the
that they
hell?
are
Yes, I
doing
It's
a.
not just announced. We talked about this a year ago.
What the hell are
well,
they talking
they're
about?
going through. It's going to be a
The
show based
pilot
on
got
Krypton.
greenlit. There is no show yet.
They did this last week. They said there was going to be actually.
Are they going full
Yeah,
show
they're
now?
going full show. It's going to take place 2 generations before Kal-El, so it's going to be his
So his
grandfather
grandpa.
His grandfather.
on Krypton as they tried to save the planet.
And it won't tie into any of the
With
other DC
amazing
stuff.
effects in
Yes.
which everything in Krypton looks exactly like downtown LA.
So there's no
Exactly.
superpowers there. So what the fuck is the purpose of even having the show?
Because they're going to talk to each other about science and stuff.
Wait, is it going to look
Does
like
it-
Avatar Krypton from the Man of Steel movie, or is it going to look like Christopher Reeve Krypton?
That's probably going to look
or are they
like.
going to look like Superman the Animated Series?
No, it's
Krypton?
going to look like Vancouver. That's what it's going to look like.
It is going to be Vancouver.
So
Look at this
you
magic
want to be
trash.
a Kryptonian?
Yep.
On Earth.
Yes.
Okay.
I like super, super strength, flight, laser vision, you name it. I want it all.
Oh.
Give it
All
all to
right.
me.
That's fair enough.
Secondary would be the
I
mind
want it
control, like
all.
telepathy
Yeah,
and mind
you
control.
got to go
Yeah.
Silver Age, where like, how no one ever figured out his Clark Kent because he has like just very very minute psychic ability.
Yeah.
Or what was the other issue is that he used to vibrate his face so
So
quickly.
it would just be slightly obscured.
so he
The
would just
hell?
Be, yeah, he used to vibrate his body so fast that people.
He also
couldn't
used to shoot tiny
pinpoint
Superman out of his
exactly who it
fingers.
was.
Like something about him's a little bit off.
There's an issue where he shoots tiny Superman out of his fingers, and he goes all wrong because they all go crazy.
'Cause
Yeah,
that
they
was-
don't come back.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
They
think
just
that was
exist.
I think that was a Red Kryptonite issue too.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the old Red Kryptonite used to give him a random power versus
Yep.
the new one, which just makes him
Just makes him a
dick.
saucy boy.
Superman's
It
acting
makes
like a
it makes him like the
different
Henry
person.
Cavill Superman.
That's the
Oh, he's breaking necks everywhere.
So mine is immortality without aging.
But what
you would
I hate to break it to
so
you.
Wow.
That's
What,
boring.
like I like
You would
the
be a
idea
baby
of it,
forever.
but do
No.
you want the ability to commit suicide? Because you get 5 billion years in and the planet explodes.
And you're just
what
floating
happens?
there
Well,
going,
by then,
"Wow, this
by then,
sucks."
I'll.
But it's also one of those things too, like, okay, you're in space. You can't die, but you got to live with the pain of being in a vacuum and having your blood boil. You know, what can
You're not really
gets all
covering
icky
your
out there.
bases here.
I love how quickly Sebastian destroys immortality. No, I'd be bored out of my skull. There's got to be a point where
So, well, okay. By the time
By the time
planet
the-
explodes, interplanetary travel.
Yes, thank
should
you.
That's what
exist.
you're banking on.
But isn't
But-
but isn't the universe
the
like
universe
slated
is
to
dying
end?
too. So
Okay.
like, what's
Yeah,
the
by 5 billion,
Yeah, but
our,
we don't-
our sun is going.
No, but even then, like,
Yeah.
who's to, like, if you don't evolve like the rest of humanity, presumably does if it survives. You know, if you go down that,
Yeah, you are stuck in
500
what you are
million year
now.
mark,
That is
and
true.
human beings are no longer the human beings you once
They're
knew.
they're all just like
and you're the only one. You can't communicate. What do you do now? Do
you go someplace
You're
else.
literally the
Do you-
only being that can't.
Do you?
teleport.
That's fine.
Do you commit seppuku and end yourself,
Seppuku?
or
Seppuku?
or do you just
Seppuku.
live with being alone?
Well, that's the other thing. Immortality for me is like you'd lose so many people.
after a while you
That-
become inept
that's
to
why
it.
for me,
Yeah,
You have
I
to
don't care
really
about
be
the loss
okay
of
with
people.
using.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
It's
well, you have to
boring as
basically
shit.
just be used to everyone you ever care about dying over and over and over again.
That's why for me the kavod of immortality.
Well,
is
after
as
the
long
people
as I
that you
can
truly
kill
care about are
myself.
gone, you just
Yeah.
don't care about
Yeah,
anybody.
once
you
you
just,
Exactly.
initially
That's the thing.
care
You're gonna
about
get why do you think
they're gonna
Vandal
die
Savage turns
anyway.
out to be a villain?
yeah,
Well, yeah, the hell with it.
you get to do whatever you want at that point. So, anyways,
Does blowing up the sun? Does planet Earth blowing up kill you? That's the thing. Like, how far immortality?
if you could have a sidekick, who would they be?
Not rich.
Or is
Like,
it
are
like
we
Kenny
talking about
immortality?
a
Junk-
fictitious
junkie-
sidekick
junkie
or
Speedy.
someone that exists in the real world as a sidekick?
Either some
Bill Gates.
What?
Ultimate
Gates.
sidekick.
Make me a lot of
Okay, go make me a
Elon
latte
Musk.
and get me 2 minutes.
out of all of
Whoa.
the
Elon Musk is pretty good.
Elon Musk is a fucking superhero, though.
He's
I mean, that's
getting,
the-
he's
let's
getting
face it,
real damn
you're-
close.
You're the sidekick. If Elon Musk builds an Iron Man suit by the end of 2017, we'd be like, yeah,
I'll be his war machine.
yeah, I think
I'm
so.
down.
I could see that happening.
I'll be his roadie. I'm down.
You can call me Rody.
Dude,
I just
call me
landed.
Rhodey.
I just landed a rocket on a barge in the middle of the ocean,
Seriously.
and it
3
worked.
purely electric cars, one of
Mhm.
which is going to be available to almost everybody. Built the gigawatt factory and is building power batteries for
He owns
everybody
Solar
to have
City?
throughout their houses.
Yep.
Huge solar city.
If you've read,
Is in the middle of developing Hyperloop.
if you've read
Yes,
Joe Casey's
super
Wildcats
speed.
Year 3, you kind of there's a point where you go, huh? He's kind of like Spartan in charge of the
Right?
Wildcats Corporation.
Okay,
Yep.
so are they going to get Stark Industries or Cyberdyne? So I don't know.
Yeah, but I think
Wait,
his
wait.
Cyberdyne would be pretty benevolent.
Well, no,
That's
he's
the, that's
well,
the problem.
Well,
His shit's always good.
well, the thing about Elon Musk too is he's very much the anti-artificial intelligence too.
Yes.
He is. He actually signed that pact like Bill Gates did and a couple
Yeah.
Really?
Stephen Hawking
Yeah.
that he does not want to advance
Artificial
AI
intelligence.
too far.
Yeah, except at this point, isn't Stephen Hawking an artificial intelligence? I mean, he's got so many computers, laptops.
Okay, so in a comic book, from the comic book world, who would be your sidekick?
We know who Riches is, everybody.
Who's mine?
Bucky!
Captain America.
little rapey Bucky.
Oh wow!
And then
Or
he
do you
becomes
take,
my Winter Soldier.
Bye-bye, Panthers.
Chris, what's yours?
Florida Panthers, just to redeem themselves right now.
Well,
Entire
if they're,
Florida
if they're
Do
a
you wanna
sidekick,
come
that
back
makes
to
you
you,
the
or-
coach, right?
What?
a comic book sidekick.
Comic book sidekick.
It
You
can
have to-
be. It
you
can
have to
be.
pick from the pool of
It can be.
sidekicks.
Does it have to be sidekicks,
No,
or
it
can
can
it
be
be
a
Batman?
hero. It can be. Yeah, Batman can be your sidekick.
Because
Oh well,
when
then
you
it's
can't be
Superman.
your
I mean, give me a break.
I know, right?
I still love that meme. Was like, the one that's like, if you could be anyone, be Batman. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
if you can't be
So
yourself, who do you
Clark
be?
Kent wakes
Batman.
up and wants to be Batman or whatever, and then someone's like, "Yeah, because I'm sure the guy who can fly around the world in half a second, shoot lasers out of his eyes, blow the breath, and super strength. I'm sure that guy just wants to be a regular human being whose parents got murdered in the street."
Yep.
It's like,
He's
Superman.
good at
Batman's
solving
relatable, Chris.
things.
He's the most relatable, obviously.
Travis.
I don't want him to be relatable.
Come back.
No,
to
if I'm
me.
picking pure sidekicks, I'd probably
Okay, pure sidekick.
pure sidekick.
Pure sidekick. Okay.
I'd probably pick Tim Drake.
That's
Really?
not a bad one. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Well-
that's a good one.
the Tech Robin.
The Tech Robin,
Tech
and the
Robin?
fact that he doesn't want to be you. He's different enough. What separated
Okay.
what separated Dick Grayson and Tim from the other Robin, they never really wanted to be
They
Batman.
wanted to be their own man.
They wanted to be their own person, so you didn't have to you don't have someone who absolutely needs you and that sort of thing, but also is very supportive. So yeah.
Travis.
We're doing it from the pool O sidekicks. I would go with
Junkie Speedy.
Huh?
Speedy on junk. Speedy on
Arsenal.
No, take Speedy when he's on heroin. That's the one you
That's
want.
perfect. That's great. He only has one arm.
That's much later, and that was.
I know, right? Yeah, you're
Greatest
welcome
star
for
ever.
remembering that. I'm gonna have to go with Kid Flash,
Kid Flash.
Which Kid Flash?
but the second one from the future.
Whichever one can go all the way to Chicago and get his pizza and bring it
Or
back.
Zoom.
Bart.
Or- yeah, Bart.
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 Okay.
Bart.
Bart.
That's awesome.
I'm taking Bart because he knows everything that's coming.
Mikey.
He's got the
I was
future.
gonna go Rainer, but I gotta think of
Kyle Rayner's a good one.
actual sidekicks.
Chip.
Yeah.
Well,
Take
then
the-
Guy Gardner. No.
Ugh.
No, they're all Green Lanterns in their own right.
Guy Gardner does
Skip
have
me
a
for right
bar,
now.
so-
All right, we'll go back to you, Ethan.
God. I've always
Shane.
thought of sidekick
Shane?
being like some sort of dog or
Walking
wolf
Dead.
or something.
Oh, Shane.
So
So you're gonna go with Superdog,
no,
Crypto?
Dude, I take
Crypto's
Crypto.
I would
freaking
say
awesome.
like I would
Totally
pick like
take Crypto.
Ghost from Game of Thrones, something like that, like a big ass wolf.
Oh, yeah, like a dire wolf?
Yeah,
Damn.
I guess that.
Oh, wait, you could use that from Young Justice. They had the
Yep.
alien wolf.
You do
That thing was
Sure.
giant.
You can do Snake Eyes as Wolf too.
there it
Sure.
is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I guess that works because they are comic books. Well, Game of Thrones isn't, is it? Did
They
they?
did it. They
Game
tried
of
to do it
Thrones
on
did
There are
2
comic
trade
books, yeah.
paperbacks.
There's some.
Sebastian. Slimer.
Not a
If he's
bad
real
choice.
Ghostbuster Slimer, sure.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
you're,
you
you're
creased
right with
me
that.
out.
Because he is a sidekick.
He's
We're
totally
going
a sidekick.
We're
in
going
that
by
show.
Japanese anime rules. So. But see, that's the thing. I like Wally West as a Kid Flash.
Oh,
Classic.
Wally
would
West
be
is
great.
awesome. Wally's my favorite Flash. Though.
Yeah. That was the first one that came to mind. So I'll go with Wally West, classic Wally West Kid Flash.
You're not wrong. It's the best one-liner.
Yeah.
He turns into the best
He's
Flash.
got the jokes. He turns into the best.
I don't give a
Flash.
damn about
Turn it
Barry.
just a little bit. There you
Give me Wally.
go. Okay, Shauna.
Carrie Kelly.
Okay, that's a good one.
Nice.
That's who I was gonna say first.
Don't you lie. It was always Bucky. It was never anything but Bucky.
He wants to
Do you
be
take
Bucky boy.
Do you take retcon Bucky, who was actually only sent to allowed to go with Captain America because he was an assassin? He was supposed to kill Hitler.
Yes. Of course.
You're
Wolverine?
taking any Bucky you can get.
Wow,
All the little Bucky
that's
boys.
the name of his autobiography.
That
I'll
just-
take any Bucky.
I'll
I can
take
get.
any
That
Bucky I
just
can
sounds
get.
so creepy, Mikey.
The Bucky Boys.
Mike already did it.
Well,
Oh, no,
I
that's right.
said Rainer,
So
but
it's like Captain Sunshine and Wonder Boy from the Venture Brothers.
Take
Oh my
take
God,
Captain
yeah.
take Captain
Boy.
Marvel's
You
the
remind me of
monkey.
that.
what?
Captain Marvel had a monkey at one point.
Take
I'm not-
Squirrel Girl's squirrel.
No.
Oh my god.
Which
Like
one?
Krillin, 'cause
Squirrely
he gets
Joe?
the-
Bob.
Which one?
Krillin.
Squirrely Joe's good.
Krillin?
one.
He gets the girl in the end.
Nice.
I mean,
Krillin's
And he has
he gets his
Destructo
ass
Disc.
He's got the
but-
Destructo disc.
Yeah.
Hey, Krillin's
Anytime
killer, dude.
anytime you want a
Krillin's
building
great.
going down, Destructo disc. He just
Destructo
ends the
disc.
building.
He can also die for you, and then
well,
you
you
just
take a
resurrect
roll.
him. So.
That's true. He
Okay.
doesn't he like basically in charge of resurrecting Goku 35 times in that
Oh
series?
yeah. He always gets the Dragon Balls.
Absolute most favorite movie that you love, and the movie you hate.
And the favorite
most.
movie you hate?
The
Yes.
favorite movie you hate and the favorite movie you love?
Yes.
Love and Loathe?
Yes.
We've
Wait,
gone
is
over
this
one.
like? Is this wait? Like, is this one of those? Like,
Okay.
Is it? Wait. No,
Wait till we get to Sebastian.
No.
Loathe. All right, guys, give me an hour.
I've got about 20,000.
And 5 of them haven't been released
No,
yet.
is this a movie that we know is bad but we still love, or
No, we do that
no,
next.
Guilty pleasure.
Oh,
yeah,
'cause-
that's like
I would
that's what
say-
that's my clarification.
That'll be the next round.
I would
Okay.
say what movie that you can watch at any time, knowing that you will enjoy it watching it.
Again, Rich's list is going to be 4 miles long.
So one
Guardians of
favorite
the
movie-
Guardians of the Winter Soldier.
Chris, what's your absolute most loved movie and your most hated?
Well, most love's going to be Empire because it's
Obviously.
most.
Correct.
It's also
That
the
is-
most
that
important
is the
film
right
for
answer.
me. Hated. Wow.
You
Can't think. I can't. It's hard to think of a film I made it all the way through that I would
that you, yeah.
right?
that I would
What's the
absolutely
first one you
hate.
can think of that you walked out on?
Big Hit. It's an absolutely terrible film.
that movie. Holy
I didn't walk out of that film. I got to the end of that film and went, if it's a recent one, Transformers 4. Transformers 4 was like one of those things. Again, it probably would change my life. That's finally like, I'm not doing this anymore. I yell at everybody else for doing it.
Transformers
pretty good doing it.
more than G.I. Joe 1.
Oh, yeah. Way more.
Yeah.
Way more. G.I. Joe 1, at least there's a couple of pieces in it that I go, okay, that's G.I. Joe-ish. And I can enjoy it to a certain
There's a lot of
degree.
Transformers 4 that
Plus,
sucks.
Rachel Nichols is in it, and I love her. Transformers 4, again, big pile of feces set on fire with more feces thrown on infinity until the end of time.
Travis, are you getting on IMDb to figure out yours?
There was one I just saw, and I was like, oh, God, that was one of the
So
worst.
should I come back?
That's the tough part of the question because you're gonna pick the most recent movie that you remember hating the most.
Yeah,
Well, no, that's what I said, like,
that's
that's fine.
going to have to be for me.
Big
too.
hit would be one, but that's the thing is like those are the two. I hate myself for sitting through those movies. Put it
Do
that way.
I need to come back to you, Travis?
Well, favorite is Empire.
Okay.
Favorite is Empire.
You're even wearing the shirt today.
Yeah. Favorite is Empire. Worst, freaking worst movie.
Oh, we all should have said Guardians of the Galaxy just to rile them
Just to piss off Rich. I mean, the worst movie I've ever seen, Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I will fight you, sir.
I
I
don't.
I will grab that metal arm right there and put it on and start trying to
And
knife
just
you.
beat the hell out of
I don't
you.
even have
Guys,
to say it.
We're just gonna kill all of us by
What's
the end of the night. We
worst
gotta.
one ever? The first one I can think of walking out of, like literally getting up and saying "screw this," was the first 10 seconds of the Clone Wars movie.
I was-
The
I
animated.
was-
knew
I
that-
kinda thought
I
you would say
kinda-
that.
I kind of thought
Because
so.
the
I knew
movie
you hated
starts
that.
and it's like dun, 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 dun. Meanwhile on Genosha, I'm like, all right, fuck you, I'm out. We're
No,
done.
I thought it was the first time she said Sky Guy or R2E.
Oh my god.
Snips.
So I have to ask you
Jesus,
while we're
Stevie.
on that subject. You watch Rebels?
Yes.
Has Ahsoka redeemed herself?
Yeah. Well, yes. She's an adult who doesn't act like a freaking baby.
You do realize they dropped the Sky Guy in R2E like within the second season
That's fine.
of
Good for them.
of Clone Wars.
Good. That's
Did you watch
wonderful.
Clone Wars?
I've tried multiple times.
So
Anyway,
is it Clone
stop,
Wars?
Stop. We're just go.
The
We'll go down. Yeah.
the hated right now, most recent would be Crimson Peak. That
Oh.
wasn't
Pretty
good. That
terrible.
wasn't good
Really?
at all. Yeah.
Oh, that's what I just saw. I saw San Andreas. What a steaming pile of shit.
I enjoyed
What
that
a
movie.
steaming
Oh,
pile of
Rock
shit.
versus the Earth.
Except for the whole boat
That's
the whole
scene.
movie?
No, the whole boat scene at the there's just one shot that just looks horribly fake. I mean, granted, it's fake anyway, but I enjoyed the movie. But I don't have a favorite
Yeah, I was gonna say, loved as a
favorite movie. I mean, recently I've just been thinking, my favorite horror movie is probably Child's Play. But I'll just say Child's Play right now.
All right, Ethan.
Out of the 15 movies you've seen, which
Favorite movie would have to be Princess Bride.
That's
Good
a
choice.
very
Great
good
movie.
choice.
Good choice.
Hated movie. Mm,
the other guys.
Well, no, you see,
'Cause I made you
I'm
watch
gonna
it.
have to go with. I'm probably gonna get it from
The
a lot of
Room.
other people, but Batman vs Superman is
I don't
very
think
low
you're- I
on
don't
my
think you're-
list.
I don't think you're alone.
I don't think
No.
no.
Yeah.
So-
Because I mean, it could be a movie that isn't like super horrible, but if you have so much expectation going in,
but
like,
it's not
you
even
need
that.
that
Like,
movie to be good. That can be a part. Well, that's what I think that factors into it too. Like if
it's
you,
a movie that I have no interest in watching again. So
Yeah.
like that's how much I disliked it. So that's why I'm gonna say it's the one that I hate the most.
Sebastian.
So easy. It's Ghostbusters. Hated that.
Ghostbusters.
The thing I'm trying to
Ghostbusters 2016.
like of movies that I like, Cable Guy, easily one of the worst because it's one of the first movies I remember just walking out of. It's just being horrible. Avatar was another one that and it's not the movie's fault. The movie's just kind of lame, but the pretentious fans made that movie even worse.
But Sebastian,
Tran-
it's called Unobtainium. And then in Transformers 4, it's called Transformium.
Wolverine kind of gets up close with the hating just because there's
Which
so
wait,
much
which one? The
Origins?
first or the second one?
The first one.
Oh, okay.
The one where they ruined Deadpool
Yeah.
Okay,
and Wolverine
that's another. That's
and X-Men.
I have not seen that movie. It's a movie I've refused to watch.
You see the second one?
Yes,
You like it?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought
I enjoyed it.
Geely's. Oh, Battlefield Earth. That's a pretty
Yeah,
horrifying
I've never
movie.
seen that.
Transformers 2 for a Transformers
All right.
movie. That was another one that I watched with my dad, and I was like, I didn't like the first one at all, but I was like, okay, maybe,
Nope.
and just like,
I mean, I'm not saying it's a great film, but I still like the first one.
Sean,
I still think it
I
works.
think all the Transformers are shit.
I mean,
I like the first one.
I thought I didn't like
I
the
thought
first
I
one,
liked
but
the
it just
third
got
one,
worse. From
And then I
number-
watched
just
it on
like-
TV, and I'm like, wait, this is horrible because it makes no sense at all.
in recent months, and I know we Jurassic World was a movie I sat and just grounded my teeth to powder through the entire film, just like.
Oh, I wish
This-
Sebastian remembered how to have fun.
Ooh, what about
This
Dragon
movie.
Ball? Remember when that came out?
That's
Whoa, that's pretty good
I don't know
too.
about, I mean, it wasn't a great movie at all.
Oh, it was horrifyingly
You're
bad.
right.
They bastardized Dragon Ball Z.
That was pretty bad.
Shauna, yours.
Oh God, it's just. I think like as far as like a movie, I can just like throw on and just watch it over and over again.
No. We
Like,
want your
favorite.
your
favorite,
favorite,
favorite, favorite,
and the
favorite.
one that you hate
Oh
the most.
God, yeah, that's a really tough one because like it's a solid tie between a lot of movies. But the first that came to mind was Empire Strikes Back and Jurassic Park, the first one.
As hate or like?
Like,
Oh, okay.
like, oh no.
I hate Empire. I want to find the person that hates Empire Strikes Back
And
Just
then
They
murder
did.
them slowly.
and hates it as a film, not someone who's like, I liked that film, but because everybody else loves it and won't shut
The
up about
prequels
it.
are better. That's all the millennials.
Ew,
Oh.
gross. That's
They look
disgusting,
better.
Sebastian.
So Shauna,
My-
you're hated.
Your
Oh.
most hated film.
The last Airbender movie because I'm a
That's
Oh, that
I'm-
is
that's a
terrible.
steamer.
I'm
That's
a-
a steamer.
I'm
right
a,
there.
it's like my boyfriend has shown me the series and I was like, oh my God, it's just it's like it was, I thought it was the most amazing thing. Everything was amazing in that show, and then he showed me the movie and I wanted to cry.
That's why you
vomit,
need
and
to
die
break
at
up
the
with
same
that
time.
guy. Why did he show you that movie? Why would he show you that?
Because
film?
my boy, as Sebastian knows, my boyfriend is one of his favorite pastimes is showing us terrible things and watching us squirm.
It's not good.
So-
Shamalama Ding Dong's entire career is like worth hating.
So
Yeah, I feel like-
mine, although Empire is probably one of my absolute
Guardians.
favorite films.
Guardians.
Guardians
Guardians.
of the
Guardians of the
ori-
Winter Soldier.
It's Guardians of the Winter Caribbean. That's what it is.
My absolute
Captain
favorite
Jack
movie
Sparrow
is
me.
Star Wars, the original Star Wars, because that's what started it all. Empire's my favorite in the series, but Star Wars will always be my most favorite film because it's the first one I ever remember seeing, and it started the whole thing. Unless you ask the millennials who say episode 1 started it, or some people in the EU who say that the Old Republic started. So, anyways, absolute hate. The worst film has to be Transformers 2.
Let's just do
I
all
just-
the Transformer films.
I just
They're all
can't get
trash.
past the balls.
The first one
Oh
is
my
okay.
God.
Wait, what are the balls?
Actually, I remember when we did the
So-
episode and I was screaming all episode long about
just
the nuts.
correct. Devastator all the robots become Devastator, and then the wrecking balls of the wrecking ball bot become
Which is
the
in
Become
the-
his nutsack.
become literally the balls of
What?
Devastator.
And fucking
What?
John Turturro's dumbass
Yeah.
is standing on a fucking pyramid, staring up, screaming at the Navy to fire. And they
What?
say, Where
Where
are
are
you
you?"
located? I'm currently under its scrotum.
What?
Yeah,
In
his
the
character in
hell?
that
Piece
movie
of
was
shit.
horrible.
There were
Oh my
7.
God!
I'm
Bad
secure
lines
in my
for that.
choice now of Transformers 2.
I'm
being one of
almost
the
tempted
worst
to say
movies
since
I've
we're
ever
all
seen.
here, we should
Ooh,
watch.
Catwoman.
We should watch Transformers 2
Never saw it.
and record
Okay,
while
I've
we're
never.
doing. You didn't see Transformers 2?
No, Catwoman.
Oh God, no! I'm refusing to see that
Catwoman.
film.
There's a hateful one.
I've never seen Transformers 2, so like.
Okay, so guilty pleasure, the movie you hate to admit that you watch over again.
Transformers 2. No.
I have seen that.
See, guilty pleasure is a tough thing. It's
That's why we're asking it.
Automatic guilty pleasure, and I love it to death.
go do yours.
'Cause
I can't think of one.
The Weird Al movie.
Oh,
UHF?
That's not a guilty
That's a
pleasure.
great
That is
movie.
a classic. That should be
I
an
love
Academy
that movie so
Award
much.
I've never
winning
seen
film.
I love that.
Shauna,
movie.
get out of this house
Shauna,
right
you're-
now.
Ugh!
You've never seen UHF.
We thought that Ethan hadn't seen a lot of movies.
UHF is one of the greatest.
Ethan, you
movies.
haven't seen
UHF
that
is
either, have you?
amazing. There's a
It's
part,
Kramer before there was Kramer.
and he's still sort of Kramer, and it's so amazing.
Oh, it was brilliant.
The whole thing's about his mom.
That's my mom.
That's my mom. That's my mom. The oh god.
Supplies.
The Raoul's Wild Kingdom.
We don't need no stinking badgers.
When he brings us like 13 ferrets and 3 badgers. Badgers?
We don't
Badgers?
need no stinking.
We don't
badgers.
need no stinking badgers. Oh, and he's teaching poodles how to fly. Oh, Sebastian, what's wrong with you? Make that
There's only
child
so much time.
just lock her into a room and make her watch UHF.
Mikey,
Call
guilty
out
pleasure.
sick for her for like a month.
Grandma's Boy is another guilty pleasure.
That one I'll give you because that looked like it was crap.
It is crap.
It's
but
okay.
it's
that
so fun.
that
It's
movie
not
is crap. I have to
great.
admit
It's
that is
crap.
that is a
Yeah.
guilty pleasure. I forgot about that one. I'll watch that nearly every
UHF
time
is
it's
like
on.
my number one guilty pleasure.
well,
So good.
Dumb and Dumber or Fifth Element whenever it's on TV. Like I'm
Love
not
me
necessarily
some
gonna,
Fifth Element.
The fifth, I don't consider Fifth
I
Element.
still want Luke Besson to make a second one.
It's a great movie.
Chris, you're not going to win this.
everybody here. Does everybody like Fifth Element
I
except
like Fifth
Chris?
Element.
Who all likes the Fifth Element? Raise your hand.
Sebastian likes Fifth Element.
Sebastian
likes Fifth Element.
We found something that he likes.
Fifth Element sucks.
You are the only person I know that hates the Fifth
I'm the
Element.
only person that's right. Then.
Green.
That movie is horrendous.
Super gay.
Coming, my man. Coming at us.
Here's the thing. Here's the
Multi
thing.
pass?
Hold on. This is the thing.
Doesn't that redeem it?
So much of that film, my hatred for that film,
And
is
that's a movie
when,
that has a 71 on Rotten Tomatoes. So
is
that's a solid
when-
C.
That's a solid
again,
movie.
all idiots. It's a film that at the time when it was released, no one was doing big budget sci-fi.
Yeah.
No one. So Luc Besson says, I'm going to do a big budget sci-fi film,
Cyberpunk sci-fi.
brilliant production values, a story I wrote when I was 14, and I've been sitting on it forever, and it turns into a campy, non-serious piece of shit. The problem is, I enjoy some of it. Chris Tucker's part
but
is
it was
hilarious.
campy and
Yeah, I bought that
non-serious.
stupid thing.
It was campy and non-serious within
Come
the
on.
first 10 minutes
Come
with
on,
little
man.
Aziz
Exact.
falling asleep.
And that's what it was like. It was dumb.
It was not serious the entire movie.
So this is the same reason I hate True Lies. Because True
Oh,
Lies
that
bills
was, That
itself.
was my first pick as one of my guilty pleasures.
I'm sure it was.
Never
Lies
seen
is
it.
fun.
I hate True Lies
No,
for the
here's
same
thing.
reason.
I fully accept True Lies
Yes,
is not
I think
a
we've
good
had
movie,
this conversation.
But it's a movie that, for some reason,
Yes,
just,
I understand people
I
who
watch.
enjoy it. The True Lies, the point when it gets to 2.5 hours or whatever of Bill Paxton and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then just screaming at it like you're a fucking secret agent. Talk to your wife.
Right.
No,
And
I'm going
it's
to
just-
have a strip
No,
for me.
no, I've got to find
for me.
I got to find a way to get Jimmy Lee Curtis into the third act, and so that she can drop the machine gun
That
and
is
it can
basically
go off
what that
over.
is, yes.
So
It'll
that's
spin
the
around.
machine gun that
The
goes.
machine gun is
yeah,
spin
and
around
it kills
and be
people
shooting
in a
everybody,
huge arc.
And I'll be behind the car.
No, what
and
happens?
spinning
No,
around and
listen,
around and
listen.
around.
She drops it, and then it kills all these people in the huge, like 180-degree arc, even though it falls straight down. The
It's
bullets
it
just
goes straight down,
yeah,
but it hits
yeah,
everyone.
It's
it hits
wanted
everybody.
before wanted.
All the bodies
because,
hit the floor.
because wanted, he curves the bullets all over the.
The bullet
No,
goes sideways.
I used to like that film.
Oh, that film's fucking terrible.
Come on, the Harrier jet's amazing.
Again,
And that's
it's
the
a
thing.
guilty
Is
pleasure.
the
like
Harrier jet
Josh
part
said.
exactly.
is great. Again,
Okay, Ethan.
Wait, no,
What
you
about
missed,
Mikey?
we missed
Mikey said Fifth Element,
Oh.
which started the
Which
war.
started the whole thing.
war.
You want to know what the
Whoa,
Civil
World
whoa,
War
whoa,
II
we didn't,
was
we didn't, did we
Fifth
get
Element.
Chris's? Your
No, I skipped it to
Okay.
because I can't think of one that I think is a bad, what should be a bad film, or maybe other people would think, oh my god,
What
why
is
do you
a
like
bad
that
movie?
film?
Billy
like you
Madison?
like? Billy Madison.
Billy
yeah.
Madison's good.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is everyone would think, oh, Billy Madison's good.
I don't.
Ethan.
There's
Guilty
a lot of haters
pleasure.
on Billy Madison.
Billy Madison's not.
I would have to say either any Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from early 90s.
Oh, come on.
Commando.
No, that's
Any-
80s,
any-
and that's not.
80s. Yeah,
the-
Commando's
Commando's one of the
Kindergarten
greatest
Cop,
films
or-
ever, just simply for the line.
I'm
They
going
showed
to kill
you
you
Commando.
last.
It
I
was-
lie.
It was amazing.
It's the cabin in the woods, and yeah, my daughter, and just
So what
Or-
is yours?
ridiculous from there.
I would say either any Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from like the early 90s, or I would
You
say
don't like-
Kindergarten
You don't like
Cop.
Junior? Come on, Junior.
I'm a teacher. It's not
Sucker
a
Punch.
tumor.
Which
Sucker
one?
Punch?
Sucker
Okay.
Punch.
Oh,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I'll
Sucker
give you
Punch
that
is
one.
horrible.
So wait.
Sucker Punch is
Yeah.
A
terrible.
movie that you
Horrible.
That's a
dislike,
guilty pleasure.
but it's a guilty pleasure.
No.
No,
It's a movie
it's
that
a movie
you know,
that
you know
I
is
shouldn't
bad.
like.
Oh,
but
it's
I
a
do
no.
like.
Okay.
No, he likes
Like-
he likes Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch is a good one. Sebastian.
Independence Day
Nice.
or Batman and Robin.
Oh!
My two.
Oh my God!
Oh, hold on, guys.
Oh, that
wait,
second one.
Wait, did Ethan just dump in the bathroom because it smells so bad? In
No,
here
that's
right
just
now.
Batman and Robin.
Oh, is that what it
It
is?
is. It is just
It's
Batman and
nipples.
Robin.
It's just some
That is a-
nipples.
Now, do you see why I
Huge
wanted to
guilty
do this
pleasure.
part of this episode? Because we were learning.
Wow.
But that's the great thing about the acknowledgement. It's like Batman and
Yes.
Robin is a gigantic turd.
Oh, it's
To
a-
this
yeah.
day,
But-
Clooney will
but
give you your money.
But he pulls out the back credit card, and I just can't help but laugh. and just like I can just see Grant Morrison loving this movie.
Definitely.
And its own.
How do I work this into canon?
Because it's literally the most Silver Age Batman any non-Silver Age Batman will ever
it's
be.
Batman
That's
66
true. It
with a
is.
huge
It's-
budget.
It's Batman 66 with a huge budget, and I love Batman
just
66. So it's literally just like a sequel. George Clooney is playing Adam West.
It just needed the Bat-Toozy.
It's
We
this,
just-
Arnold.
we needed
Arnold
the
is
dance.
playing the exact same
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze from the television show,
Somebody
who also
just-
had a German accent. It's
Somebody just this last week cut together all the Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners from that film.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
and they just progressively get.
I've
worse
never
and
seen
worse
that
and
film,
worse.
but I've heard it's so
But
bad. It's
you've
almost
never
a part of
seen
it.
it?
to
Oh no, I
Nice
the
to see
first
you.
Rob,
It looks
I
like
never-
to see you.
yeah,
It's
the
gone
first Robin
cold.
one I checked out. That was it.
Oh, we
Yeah,
we need to watch
those
that
two,
one.
Batman,
Batman
and Rob,
Forever.
Batman Forever is a movie that is like that
I
halfway
like Batman.
mark.
Yeah, I
It's-
enjoy parts of it.
Yeah,
Toby
wait,
Jones'
hold on.
Two-Face is a little.
Batman
eh.
Forever
Yeah,
I didn't
was-
like Two-Face, but I love
Riddler
Jim
was
Carrey
good,
as
yeah.
the Riddler.
Batman Forever.
but
is
it's
one of those.
But it's another
Batman Forever
66.
has pieces.
That's true.
He's Jim Carrey's playing Frank Gorshin's
Yeah.
Riddler.
Holy
I wish-
Rusted Metal, Batman.
I wish he
It
was
says
the
that
only
in
villain.
too.
If he was the
Holy-
only villain,
If he was the
I think
only
that
villain,
would
I
have
would
been-
agree. And because it also is one of the things like Billy D. Williams signed on specifically to
Yes,
be
he did.
Two-Face, and then they got rid of him for Tommy
Right.
Lee Jones.
Yes, he did.
So
But
yeah.
he played the mayor in the or the
He
commissioner.
played no,
Was it
No,
No,
he,
he was
played,
Harvey
Harvey
Dent.
Dent.
He played Harvey
Oh.
Dent.
In the
Yeah,
two.
Billy D.
He
Williams.
played
Uh,
Harvey
I
Dent
cannot
in the two
remember.
Tim Burton ones.
Christopher Walken was the mayor in the second
Yeah.
one.
Yes, he was.
No, Christopher Walken
No.
was the
Oh,
head
no.
of the
That's right.
company.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Independence Day and Batman and Robin. They're my two.
Shauna.
Rat Race.
That's a good one.
Oh,
Rat Race
That's
is
a
a
good
fantastic
one.
film,
Yeah,
though.
that's
I
a-
like
that's a-
Rat
that's a-
Race.
that's
That's
a
not a
good-
guilty
That's
pleasure.
a good bad movie. It's a good bad movie.
That's
Best
just
bad
a
movie I've ever
pleasure.
seen.
Rat Race is one of the funniest films ever.
I freaking love it.
Mr. Bean. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
He's a
I'm gonna
race.
toss in Johnny English as well.
I'm
Oh, I
really-
love
Oh,
that
No,
movie.
wait.
God.
Johnny English is good, too.
No,
wait,
it's not.
You have to
but I
like
love
Mr.
it.
Bean, though.
No, but I also have a truly heinous guilty pleasure.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
All right, because I'm a sucker for animals. I really like snow dogs.
oh God.
I thought you were gonna say Airbud, so you're okay.
Isn't Snow
It's
Dogs
really
like
her
Cuba Gooding
love
Jr.
for
Yes,
Spectacular?
that is one of the movies that killed his career.
It's
The
one
one
of
that
them.
came
that
out right after
movie.
his
It's so
Oscar one,
cute.
wasn't it?
Yes, it
But hey,
was.
that's what this is about. These are all bad movies that we acknowledge are bad, but we love for some reasons.
So, mine is episode 1 through 3.
Oh,
Go to hell.
God damn it!
Hey,
I mean, I
again,
guess
they're-
yeah.
No, there's parts of those films.
Get
that
out!
are good. God, do I
Get
have
out of your
I'm trying to
house.
think.
It's my house now.
Get out of your own house.
Yeah, get out of your house.
Get
Leave
out
the
of your
leave the
house.
equipment and go. I can't think of one
Although,
that's like.
Transformers 2, I watched it even though I hate it.
I mean, I guess if you want to consider Transformers a terrible film, then that would be my guilt or pleasure because I do enjoy watching that film. I know it's
It is
not.
terrible.
G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra is yours.
No, I've actually only seen Rise of Cobra once. So yeah, I guess if we all acknowledge that
Indiana
Transformers
Jones.
Transformers 1 is terrible, then I guess mine would be Transformers because I can still put that film on and watch it.
Yeah,
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
That
No, I
counts
can't
for
watch
me.
Kingdom of the Crystal
Ew.
Skull.
I suppose the bigger thing is like the acknowledgement that you know it's bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a great film. I think there are parts of it that are good. It's eye candy.
Green
in addition
Lantern.
to the way that, no, it's yours. You watched it on HBO 45 times. Just the kind of, the music is great.
Mhm.
It's got just this whole hero manipulation thing. I mean, you still like cheer when she's driving the stupid tow truck and Bumblebee's shooting shit all over the place. You're like, yeah, go get him.
This is horrible.
The beloved scene where Jazz scans the internet and decides to speak like an urbanite.
Yeah.
A space robot.
Yo, what you talking about, Willis?
And then they took it a step further with the two bots in the second one.
Yes.
Yes.
Where
Then they went fully Bond.
Yeah, where they're like, oh yeah, we were watching 1920s blackface films, and we're like, oh, this is an idea. All right, what's the next question?
I'm just Transformers 2 is still bugging me. Okay,
It's still better than
so
4.
we're gonna wrap things up with this last question.
Oh god, no one's getting to know any of us.
If you could write one film,
We've already done that one.
no, I haven't.
Yeah, we have.
No, we haven't.
We've done a bunch of these before.
No, we haven't.
Yeah, we have.
I don't think we have.
Yeah, we have.
If you could write one film based on anything that there is in pop culture, what would it be?
Yeah, we already did this one.
I don't remember doing this one.
Yeah, because I think I remembered your
I don't
answer.
remember doing this one either.
At the time, I think you said you wanted to do another Star Wars film. That wasn't a trilogy film. You should have written Rogue One. But,
That was
Screw it.
before. Yeah.
ooh. A good Punisher film, maybe? I don't know.
It was just done with Daredevil.
It's not really.
No,
about
but Punisher's
Punisher,
film.
though.
If you want to write a film,
Bernthal is doing it.
yeah, but that's it. Writing it as a film, though, right? Getting a good
Punisher film?
Punisher film.
Would you
That
would
little
you
short
would you
film, what's his
adapt?
name,
Would you adapt Punisher Born? That would be the one. I think.
I think Punisher Born's too tough. I would probably do something along
Barracuda? Barracuda's not bad.
Circle of Blood.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I think it's something that's got to attach to it. Circle of Blood's probably one that we do, or just do the first series, the Rikers and everything that he was doing in the government agency and stuff like that. You know, it would be. I wouldn't do the origin. I'd do him in, basically already a hero out there. Actually, you know what I would do? I would do that Fantastic Four film that I talked about.
Yes.
If Marvel had Fantastic Four, this is all fantasy. If Marvel has Fantastic Four, my idea for Fantastic Four is that they are a secret government agency that
They work for
has
the
been
government
has been
secret.
superheroing longer than any of them, and then some threat brings them into the public.
Into the public, right?
And when the cameos of the Avengers are like, oh, these new heroes on the scene, he just kind of looks like, new? We've been doing this a hell of a lot longer than you have.
Kind of
and
like
kinda
what
go from
Ant-Man
there.
was doing.
Yeah,
Like
that
Hank
same
Pym.
idea that
You
that
think
that
pulling
sort of
out a
thing there.
MacGuffin from the MacGuffin machine would close a wormhole to space?
Exactly.
Please.
Travis, new Firefly series.
There are so many. No, sir, there are so many options.
Yeah, that's right. You gotta
Yeah,
pick
ruin
one.
Firefly. Do something new and then find out how much it sucks. Did I ever send you that article that guy wrote about one of the things that makes Firefly so good is because it didn't keep going? Because they
not a
never.
bad argument.
That's what he said. It's
It's
like
a great
it never
argument.
got to the point, and he brings up Heroes, where he's like, if Heroes had ended at season 1, if it had never been renewed,
Everybody
then
would be
Heroes would
singing his
be in the
praise.
Firefly,
Yeah.
sort
He's
of
not
thing.
wrong.
When I
He's
saw
not
this
wrong
thing,
at
I
all.
was like, this is totally.
Yeah,
right.
it's something. It's
Yeah.
basically it's not perfection.
It
It could have.
It chance to
It doesn't.
fuck up.
That's what he said. It never
Yeah.
gave it a chance for that season.
Burn
That
bright
that
and
bad
fast and then you're
season
gone.
that you get. He brings up Lost
Yeah.
too. He's like, if Lost was 4 seasons instead of 6, if he threw out 3 and 4,
Yeah.
I think people would love it a lot more. But that's anyway. So. What movie would you write? Showgirls
You-
2.
Actually, you know what I would really like to do? What I'd like to take a pass at? is
Rebooting Sucker Punch.
Use oh my god. Use the Kenobi book as the source. But I adore the Man with No Name series of films.
So do a Kenobi
So do
Man
a,
of No
but
Series.
I mean
no
a
face.
really good, really well made, R-rated
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Obi-Wan
A
Kenobi.
fistful of credits.
But I mean like a really hard, but
An
but like
Old West
but
film
like
with
High
Obi-Wan
Plains
Kenobi?
Drifter. You know, Hang 'em High, High Plains Drifter, like the darker side, not the lighter side.
That's pretty
Do the
cool.
really
Yeah.
dark
Now I want to see that movie.
Western Obi-Wan Kenobi.
So far, I want to see both these movies.
Well, read Kenobi first. You'll get a big chunk of what he's
You
talking about.
get a big chunk of it, but I mean like really
Yeah, that'd be good.
like
If
do
you
a
want
really
the
good
most
Western.
canonical of non-canonical books, that's the one.
Mikey.
Voltron, because it has yet to be made. So.
Voltron.
That would be
Soltron?
Soltron.
Welcome to the
There it is.
Soltron.
Yo, brothers, we gonna stop this. Let's form the lion.
It's just Saturday Night Fever.
Exactly. It's easy to moonwalk in space.
Ethan. Breaking the Next Generation.
What?
You know the break-in movies from the 80s? Yeah.
Sure.
Breakdancing.
It's all about breakdancing.
Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I would think
I still
kind
love
of
those movies. Those are guilty
piggybacking on
pleasures.
what Travis was
Iron
saying.
Eagle. That's mine. I'll take that. Iron Eagle is
Ooh.
a terrible 80s film, but it is so 80s. It's beyond the 80s of 80s. That's my guilty pleasure.
That is a good one.
That's
Iron
fine.
Eagle.
I'll
You know,
take
I
that.
used to put a tape deck on my lap and hold it there while I was playing this. I was playing Top Gun, the game on the.
crew to get his grandson
No.
together his old crew.
It's Iron Eagle.
Or is that the
Iron Eagle's the one is the Luke Gossett Jr. film where his dad gets captured in
And they have the
in
intruders.
some
the F4
sort
intruders.
of Middle Eastern country.
Right.
Yeah.
And Lou Gossett
Libya.
Jr. trains his son how to fly an F-16.
Right.
And they
I
go
thought they
over
were
and see
intruders.
them.
They were
No.
F4s.
Yeah, he gets together his
No,
old.
they
He
were
gets
F-16s.
together his
They were
old
F-16s.
team.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
F-16s.
Okay.
He gets
Because
together his old team to go save him.
No,
No,
that's later.
it's just
that's
the two
like,
of them.
Oh, was that
That's
number,
Iron Eagle 4 or
That's
something.
number 4. Okay.
That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah,
That
there's
is a good
also
idea.
a lot of Iron Eagles, so they're hard to keep straight.
Okay, so Ethan, what would you write?
Kind of piggybacking on what like Travis was saying. Kind of doing like an Obi-Wan Anakin story, like kind of like off the comic book. It's out just like the
Oh, the new
Yeah.
Kenobi Anakin book.
doing like a TV series off Obi-Wan Anakin.
Okay, Sebastian. What
Bond movie
Ghostbusters?
set in the 60s.
A Bond movie set in the 60s.
Yep.
You're not wrong.
Ooh.
Ghostbusters has already been done, and it was done perfectly.
You don't. Yeah, you don't remake perfection.
You don't remake perfection, but you can do
Even
another
though they
Bond movie
try.
and set it to the 60s.
Yep. Yeah.
Shauna.
Ooh, this one's a tough one. Actually,
Oh my
I was,
God! You just made me think of the one that I always wanted to
Okay.
do.
Ghost in the
My
Shell.
Entire 20s.
We'll
I
go
want-
back to you. We'll go
I
back
wanted I actually wanted I would like to write a live action Akira movie, but with actual Asian actors. And
What are you talking
to
about?
you. don't want Leonardo DiCaprio?
No, I don't want him to be
Obviously,
Leonardo
Keanu
DiCaprio is
Reeves is gonna
Canada?
play him.
No,
Oh, Leonardo
Like,
DiCaprio.
Canada!
You wouldn't want to. You wouldn't want
Uh,
to make an attempt
Tetsuo.
at a Sailor Moon movie.
No, Sailor Moon too, but they're just oh god, there's just so much, and I would love to see us. Oh, I don't know. Darn it,
I'm the studio head. You get an Akira HBO series. That's the
There we
best
go.
I can
That's
offer.
And also-
That's
and-
the best I can offer. You're just gonna have to take Akira HBO series to
Powerpuff
cover
Girls
Damn
to
it.
movie.
cover the greatness that is
Damn it.
Akira.
But the reason I chose Akira is that like I love the film so much, but like after reading the manga, there's just so much. There's just so much source material, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I like to see a new like a new
It's
spin
gonna
on
be
it.
so hard to put that into a film,
It-
though.
It's a
It
political.
is.
It could just be a
With
huge political
computers nowadays, you
military
can do whatever the hell you
show.
want.
No,
spent
but no,
like-
not that. There's so much information. You can't do that in a 2-hour film.
that's
It's like
why-
Jurassic Park.
That's why you say.
Oh yeah,
do
no.
Like your
But that's the
HBO
thing. I'm talking about a
12-part.
movie.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do a
Yeah,
TV
that's
series,
true.
if I have an unlimited budget to do a TV series, I'm doing the original Jurassic Park book as a miniseries.
Oh yeah. You can
all word for
I
word.
would
Oh my
watch
God.
the shit out of
Exactly.
that.
I do an 8-part thing because that's one of the things they actually says. Like if we were to do the book piece by piece, it would be a 9.5-hour film. Okay, give me 12 hours on HBO and I'll do the whole thing. Same thing there. If you want to do Akira, do the same thing as just these huge manga volumes that are going to take
great
forever.
HBO
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
But in terms of a movie, you got 3 hours as your time limit. What do you
Yeah.
write?
oh, I don't know. Like it's just like I
Well,
guess
if you're Dan Snyder, you just tell everybody that's not the real movie. I got another hour that I'm going to tack on when I release it.
You mean Zack Snyder?
God.
Dan Snyder is the owner of the.
Sorry, Zack Snyder.
And also a Sailor Moon movie would be. Oh, I don't know where I would start with Sailor Moon.
But that's something that you could work in an origin and
You could do
Yeah,
an
but-
origin Sailor Moon. It would be badass.
Anime is weird.
oh god! I had forgotten about that Robot Chicken episode. Oh god damn it! Team Beryl with their massive boner. Oh.
So I
What
would
the
have.
hell just happened?
You're gonna write some kind of pirate movie, and it's gonna have Winter Soldier in it.
Guardians of
And
the
a
Winter
raccoon.
Caribbean.
It's gonna be
Guardians of the Winter
Soldier at
Caribbean.
World's End.
It's gonna be Star Wars mixed with Winter Soldier mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy mixed with Pirates of the Caribbean.
So Boba Fett the movie.
Oh, God.
I think that was
it
my
sounds
answer
like-
last time.
That wasn't a
what?
joke. Why are you all laughing?
That sounds like the shit I read on like fanfiction.net when I was like 15.
Probably.
I would have to say probably book 2 through 5 of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, interesting.
You're gonna get that under 3 hours?
You could do.
I do a
You
trilogy.
could, yeah, but that sounds.
No, you said a movie. You're breaking your own. You're breaking your own rules.
Yeah.
Give me a movie that
You're
starts and
breaking
ends.
your own rules, son.
You can't do that under 3 hours, but
Well, that's all you got. You got to pick
wait a
something.
minute. They were doing series on. Ethan wants to do a series on television.
Don't care about it. You asked the fucking
As
question.
the fictional studio head, I gave Shauna an HBO series for Akira.
He was a
Sebastian has
studio
told
head.
you as a studio head, you only get to do one film. So
Either that, or I do a Star Wars film based around the Empire Stormtrooper with just the Stormtroopers and call it Empire Lost. And kind of like a
there's way too much fucking Star Wars in here.
saving Private
There's-
Private.
there's
I would
Ryan.
like.
never
I would like to
much.
point out, none of us have an original idea to write a film.
Well, he said.
Oh, I have
franchise.
plenty of original
No, I
ideas.
said
Yeah.
pop culture that's already out there.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he started it with something. Yeah.
Okay, so with all of that said,
Not giving away ideas for free on the internet.
Yeah.
No, we already did that year that we were in TuneIn Studios, and Travis and I put out Fox's schedule for the next 2 years.
that's true.
Jesus Christ, we really did.
That Radioactive Man movie
That's why
needs
they
to
never
happen.
let us back.
I know.
Why didn't you say that one? You
Fox
could have written
paid
a
him off to
radioactive.
kill us.
Could have a Radioactive Man movie. That would have been awesome.
Gotta have Arnold in it, though.
So this past week,
Up and at them.
About
did-
them.
this last, and we're gonna. I don't want to close on a downer, but you know, we do have to
We always
mention it.
do.
With
Every time you say that, we
I know.
Now you can actually tag Prince and get hits.
this past
Oh,
week's
you'd be a big
Prince,
fuck.
I know, passed away.
Called clickbait.
It was not clickbait. I feel really bad that
You
it's
become
become.
clicky bastard.
I feel really
Wait a
bad.
minute. This show's not about Prince.
It
It's
is
about
now.
a bunch of good nerds yelling at each
But
other.
to tie Prince into the nerd culture, he did do the song from the original Batman movie.
Did the whole album.
Yep.
Yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
And but it is a big loss, and Prince was a big part of my childhood, or younger years, teenage years.
It's also one of the most dirtiest jokes in
was first explored.
Animaniacs history.
The song that I loved the most was "Little Nicky" because it was just the dirtiest song that was out around that time.
Saying a lot about yourself, Rich.
I know.
14-year-old Rich.
14-year-old Rich used to masturbate in the magazine.
Wow.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Oh my god.
Don't ever tag Prince on this episode.
Oh
Ever.
my god.
In a hotel lobby.
Wait, who are you jacking
Oh,
off?
Wait, what?
God.
Jacking off Prince?
What were you? You were. Wait. I'm sorry.
Why no?
Jagging
It's
Why?
the song.
Why? Why are
It's
you?
the
Before
song.
I was
Nicky.
born.
Dirty Nicky.
It's Little Nicky.
No, Little Nicky
Little
is an
Nicky
Adam
is-
Little
Sandler
Nicky is
movie.
a terrible
Little Nicky
movie.
is the-
So
Little
you
Nicky
love
is a-
Prince so much, you have no clue what
I
the
was
title
so
of your
like,
favorite
wait,
song
there's magazines
that
and an
apparently you're
Adam
banging
Sandler
off
movie
to.
involved in this? I
Oh,
was
no,
so
that's Dirty
confused.
Dan.
No, it
Now I'm
is
getting
Little
fucking
Nicky.
confused.
It's Little Nicky, and the song starts off
Darling Nicky?
Darling Nicky.
Darling
Wow,
Nicky.
that's it. Little Nicky is it's Darling
No,
Nicky.
yeah.
Little Nicky is
Adam Sandler.
Adam
I
Sandler.
feel like a song
So
can't be named Little
confused.
Nicky too, but
The fact that your favorite song from Prince is something that you don't even know the title of.
I also liked.
It's like me saying my favorite Pearl Jam song is NRA instead of
just
WMA.
Let's Go Crazy. I mean, the
Let's
whole
Go Crazy,
the whole
yeah.
intro into that song.
Yeah. That
Or
whole-
the fact, did anybody watch Saturday Night Live last night?
no.
So they did a tribute to Prince. The first,
Yeah, they cut their entire episode to just go all Prince.
they didn't cut. It was going to be a repeat anyway.
Oh, okay.
So yes, they cut the repeat and they filmed some intros with Jimmy Fallon and a couple other people, and they showed all of his musical performances over the course of the time that he's been on SNL. They also showed his performance in the 40th anniversary show that was just a little while ago, in which Jimmy Fallon decides to make it all about him and jumps on stage and does everything that Prince does because he's a jerk. But
Wait, Prince is a jerk or Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy
Fallon.
Fallon,
Fallon.
the last quarter of it is all of the Prince show skits. Prince show.
Yeah.
Beyonce. I taped it just simply for that, and it's amazing. It's so
Prince?
Prince is scared.
Prince.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. But yeah, I feel bad. It wasn't like I
What does everybody have a favorite Prince song?
don't know if like I wasn't like
When
huge
Doves
Prince
Cry
fan.
is still one of the.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
Doves Cry would probably be it because that was probably my favorite. Purple Rain's really good too. I wasn't a
Let's
huge.
Go Crazy.
Okay, let's go.
Let's Go Crazy is good.
So-
I wasn't a
so
huge
wait.
Prince fan, but here's my Prince moment. My Prince moment is sitting at White Chocolates for the Super Bowl, and it is pouring rain,
Oh, that
absolutely pouring, and we're watching this. And we're going, "There's no way he's going to perform," and we're getting towards the end of the second quarter.
He gets
I
almost
think that's
electrocuted.
the Indianapolis Chicago one.
It is Chicago. Yeah.
So we're watching this towards the end of the second quarter. We're getting close to halftime. All of
Miami.
us in Miami in a torrential downpour. And all of a sudden, it's got to be a tent. It's got to be a tent. He comes out and it's no tent. That's all we said for the whole
Wide
half hour
open.
is he's going to die at that point,
Electrocution.
electrocuted. But also understanding how well he performed.
Oh, it was an amazing
how crazy.
performance.
The thing I saw this week, speaking of Pearl Jam, which is my favorite band, Eddie Vedder said that Prince is the greatest guitarist who's ever lived. He said the way that he could play a guitar and write a song with a guitar, no one will ever match that. I thought that was kind of interesting. And you watch it now, watching him play. I watched all of Saturday Night Live last night. And those musical performances that he has in there, the way that he can play guitar is disgusting.
It was also totally
There's-
professional too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and there's a couple like people that expounded on that. Somebody asked Eric Clapton, and it's Eric fucking Clapton,
Yeah.
the governor. They asked him in an interview one time, like, "What's it like to be the greatest guitarist alive?" And he said, "Go ask Prince." And
Yeah.
then the other side of that is Rolling Stone came out with their top 100 guitarists of all time at one point, and interference. But they came out with the top 100 of the best guitarists at that time, and Prince didn't make the list.
Well, they just did
So-
it. They just did a top one, and Prince wasn't even in the top
So,
15,
but it-
or he wasn't even
it
top
went-
25.
But this was the year.
Yeah, but Rolling Stone also just did an interview with a fake character for a beer. So
Yeah, there's that too.
That's true.
But this was the year they were inducting George
Pinnacle of
Harrison
journalistic
into the
integrity
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rolling Stone.
And he was part of the supergroup they put together to play "While My Guitar Gently Weeps" as the
Oh, nice.
song for George Harrison.
Nice.
And apparently, the entire time throughout the entire week of rehearsals, he was just doing a simple couple little guitar riffs, doing it nice and simple. And he apparently had been planning the entire time to show up Rolling Stone, because when they actually, and that's what is the final version that like was recorded and was live, was he went ape shit for like 3 minutes straight.
Yeah.
Just went nuts and tore the guitar apart.
Does anyone have a favorite song that's not on the Purple Rain soundtrack?
No.
No.
Diamonds and Pearls is
Diamonds
the
and
only other
Pearls.
later song that I know.
Diamonds
Yeah, I
and
mean, see,
Pearls
I-
is a
the-
great one.
my other Prince
I'm sure
moment
there's
is
Dream,
uh,
but
Purple
yeah.
Rain is kind of like the White Album for the Beatles.
That is very true.
It is, yeah.
The best Beatles music is all on the White Album. And
the
like,
most famous, the most popular, the
Yeah.
most
Oh, come on, but
accessible.
Revolver.
Yeah.
Well, but the other
Revolver, too.
thing about that album is every song on that album is amazing.
yeah.
Mm.
And you don't get albums where there are very few times you get an artist that has an album that every single song
Is
is just
stellar.
Yeah,
amazing.
last time for me,
Yeah.
Random Access Memories from Daft Punk is the last album is the album in recent memory I can remember going like every song on this is amazing.
Like everything
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
Everything.
The last one I
That
can
the
think
last
of-
Beck album was the same thing.
yeah, Beck's
last
album,
album
too.
was
Last one I can think of is Justin Timberlake's last album, The 2020 Experience. There was,
can see that.
I would say
the
maybe
entire room goes silent.
No, I'm not disagreeing with him. That
No,
that
I
album
haven't-
is
I haven't
like
heard it, so I
that
can't-
first or second time when you listen
It's
to
like
it, you're
everybody
oh my
was
God.
like waiting a second to see if they wanted to really admit
No,
that
it's-
Justin Timberlake was pretty good.
Dude, Justin Timberlake is a
JT
talented
can put on a
motherfucker.
show,
No,
dude.
I know. I
Because
get it.
that's-
when he went solo, he like it's like, God damn, they were holding you back.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he crushed it. Yeah,
Well, it's
he
also
was-
you understand him. He can write.
Yeah.
He can play instruments. So like he was in a boy band, yes, but most of the guys from that band could
Dude,
play,
He was a Mouseketeer.
and he could play.
yeah.
He could actually. He
Okay.
knew how to learn instruments and stuff like that. Prince has during the Princes, when you see someone who kind of transcends that pop culture and is in these different pieces. Obviously, one of the most famous Dave Chappelle show skits is Charlie Murphy stories of when he played basketball against him. And they just re-showed that. I mean, it's been all over the place.
Blouses.
The best part of that is the fact that him and his crew played that game in their like going out club attire,
Well,
and
the
it
fact
just
that Dave Chappelle was able to get those stories verified
yeah.
as having happened is amazing.
You know,
in and of itself.
Charlie,
this-
Charlie
Would you
Murphy
like
did
some
a
pancake, bitches?
radio interview
Let's do pancakes.
about
Pancakes are unlike your game. I mean, there was great stuff like that, and the stories that people told of Prince, just people could invite everybody to his place and like, let's go just downstairs and start jamming. They go downstairs and they would just play for hours. They record all this stuff. The news reports now that he has thousands of songs, or at
Yeah,
least
that
parts
never
of songs
released.
that are there that are never released.
Well, there's also
And who knows?
that,
I mean,
that
I'm sure.
estate, which is probably going to Sheila E., but like they're saying, there's probably hundreds of thousands
Well,
of
there's
songs. that
there's
have
the other
never
piece.
hit the light
The
of
other
day.
piece is we don't really realize how many people Prince started, how many careers Prince started,
Oh,
people
yeah,
that
look at all
played
the
for
songs he wrote.
Yeah, I mean, not
Well,
only
that's
just
just
all
it.
the songs he
Not-
wrote, but the fact that people that played with him.
Yeah.
He took his drummer and said, "Go be an artist."
Yeah.
He took his guitarist and went, "Be an artist." And in a time when people wouldn't do it, you watch the SNL stuff again. He had an all-female band. He had
Yeah.
he had a bassist, two guitarists, and a drummer, all females. At a time when you never saw that with a male lead. And also all the stuff he did to kind of challenge our perception of what he was. We all thought it was kind of stupid when he became a symbol and stuff like
But
that.
that was all because of Warner Brothers.
It was because of Warner Brothers, but it was
He
also
was
something
fighting
with
Warner
his.
Brothers, yeah.
But it was also something with his own persona of just saying, what does the name mean to me, and what this is what his identity was.
What was you take
Much
my-
like we saw in someone we lost a little while ago with David Bowie, saying my identity isn't tied to my gender, my identity isn't tied just to my name, my identity isn't tied to something that's really easy to define, and kind of push those boundaries. And we snickered at it at the time, but it's all stuff that we look at now and go, that's all stuff that we're dealing with right now. There's so much we're talking in America about identity, self-identity, identification, gender, androgyny, all of this type of stuff is all stuff that these guys were dealing with 20 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
The greatest Prince story, easily the Kevin Smith one. If love him or hate him, go find an evening with Kevin Smith where he talks
When he
about.
talks
Oh,
about when he
I
went
love
to
Kevin
his
Smith's
estate.
story time.
where he
His
talks
podcast
about
is
how
great.
weird Prince is.
Oh,
When
yeah.
he went to his estate.
He went to
and
his estate to help
Yeah.
him film like a Church of Latter-day Saints
Yeah.
recruitment video.
Yeah.
And he didn't sign. They didn't. No one ever handed him the release form to keep it all a secret. So he gets to tell the story
Yeah.
about how his publicist has to go shop for him at Nordstrom Kids because he's really, really tiny and thin.
Yeah, he's only 5'2".
Well, I mean, there was, I think Ryan Seacrest told a story where Prince invited him over to his house and didn't really tell him why he was coming over there, and just sat him down at a dinner table, and they sat across from each other from like a 12-foot long table, had their dinner, and then he said, "Oh, there's this artist I want you to meet," and brought out the artist and said, "Let's go listen to her CD." So they went out to his limo, sat down in the limo, listened to all the songs on the CD, and he's like, "All right, thanks for coming by. See you later." And he's like, it was a really weird evening, but that was one of the greatest nights of my life.
Prince out, and then just gets out of the thing.
I mean, but
Out of the blue, spontaneous, weird.
but
shit.
not only was he a
the best
brilliant
stuff.
artist, but he also like Chris said, he was very charitable with making other people famous and making them artists and helping them out and paving their way. And he was very good at spotting talent. And not only that, I mean, he was very charitable. He'd always give to charities, And the other thing is, as big as he was and as flamboyant as he was, he stayed out of the spotlight most of the
Well, he
time.
was very, very private.
Very
That's part
private
of the
man.
reason
Very
that he
private.
may have died was
So-
because, according to one of the stories, is when he was staying, when he had the emergency landing and he went to the hospital, and they wanted him to stay overnight, but they couldn't give him a private room.
Correct.
That's why he left.
Yep.
If that's true, that could be possibly part of what contributed to him passing away.
To me, it
was going
sounded
on.
to me like another, the Jim Henson. Jim Henson got the flu, and he's like, "I'll be fine. I'll be fine." He didn't. It started getting worse and worse. He's like, "No, I don't need to go to the hospital. I'll be okay." Then he got pneumonia and died like 2 days later.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
starting to sound like that. He got like a horrible illness from the flu. Went to the hospital. He's like, "No. I can
Well-
manage it." He started taking a lot.
Well,
of
that's-
Some are also starting to
That's
say
it.
that
The,
was, he
the
was on
story.
purpose.
There's two stories. The story is that they released him and he left. The other story is that because they could not put him in a private room,
that he left.
he left or against doctor's orders.
Well, then there was also another story that he was taking Percocet because he had
He's
a,
probably been taking
a
Percocet
knee
for
or
years.
like
He had a hip injury.
he had a hip
He
injury.
did, I think he did a full replacement, didn't he?
He did have- he had a
and
hip
then got
replacement,
addicted. They're
yeah.
saying that he got addicted to it because when he did land, they had to give him one of the life-saving opiate type drugs, and
The shot, the
Like
safe
a
shot.
right, the
It's
shot.
it's a safe shot.
The safe shot,
'cause
yes.
You're already
So they're saying
so
that
screwed up.
could have that it could have been an overdose or something like that.
yeah. But all that now is speculation. for
Right.
those
That's,
who
yeah,
are
that's
disappointed.
all. Who knows?
That's all
He said, she
speculation.
said.
So.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, Prince was a legend.
Pulse.
And he did. He affected not only comedians' lives, theatrically, musically, but just overall. I mean, almost every person from our generations or before have a story about Prince that that they can relate to.
Mhm.
So that's why I wanted to bring him up to this. He was also, gave us probably one of the best Batman soundtracks ever.
Mhm.
But yeah, and we're going to end on a downer on our third anniversary. So anyways,
anniversary. This has been great. I mean, it's been me and Rich and Travis doing a half-hour show every Sunday for 3 years, and
3 months.
3 months. Okay, that's yeah. I
3
think
months.
that lasted 3 weeks.
Okay, 3
I think
weeks.
was it 3 weeks before
3
we
days.
started a new show and we changed the whole thing.
Does anyone have a really good memory of doing the show so far?
Yeah, going to the fucking studio and having somebody else produce the son of a bitch and then getting kicked out after 2 weeks.
That was pretty good.
There's
I mean, that was
one.
a killer space, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh
and
yeah,
they
it was
obviously
great.
hated us.
We know that it was a good idea because Travis actually fucking showed up.
Every time we did.
Yeah,
it.
the 3 times we were there, and as soon as we were gone, Travis was like, "Screw you guys! I'm just gonna stay home and just
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I'm not gonna do anything." I think one of the biggest things is we had Sebastian's former home implode for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
We're able to bring him on, so we have a new voice. They can yell at us about
Who
how
brought
much he
Sean
hates stuff.
on.
Who brings Sean on? But no, Sebastian brings a lot to the table. Ethan, who's quiet all the time.
Ethan talks more now than he did.
A little bit more, yeah, because I think he just finally said, "I'm tired of you guys making fun of me, and I'm just going to yell at you."
Even
I think he also gained a lot of confidence when he came up with Grime Fighters, one of the funniest moments in the history of the show.
which would actually probably been better than Batman v Superman.
It's a shame that we never actually made that before the movie.
Yeah, well, we don't really move on
Who
anything.
could forget Nacho Man?
Look, the fact that
Right?
we're actually still recording almost weekly,
Pretty close to it.
unless Rich goes away and he takes all his toys with him. You guys aren't allowed to record without me.
I didn't
Um,
do that. You guys had-
Did we record that week? I don't know how to use this gigantic mess of a fucking machine in front of us. And by the way, neither do you. So,
Just not with 7 people, apparently.
not with any people. No, but
I
it's
can't find your mic.
I can't find your mic. I can't.
Sebastian,
there's no
coming onto the
batteries.
show for literally the last year regularly. I mean, we had you on a couple
I was
times.
to say it's
before
not
that.
literally because it's not July.
Um,
That's my other favorite.
What do you
memory,
think of the
pointing
show?
at us.
It's fun. In the end,
That's going to be as much as we're going to get out of him. I've known Sebastian for 4 years now, 5 years now. Actually, no, because
You've
we
known
started.
him
We
longer
started.
than
Yeah,
that.
we started
Yeah,
shopping at
09.
the shop in 2009. That means he hates us. When he's fine,
It's fine.
If he's not espousing on that, if that's kind of the end of it, that's I really don't want to hurt your feelings. Because Sebastian is a nice guy.
It is fun because in the end it's very relaxed in format. Even though we want to have a more strict time limit, we tend to be able to just shoot the shit.
Yeah, there's those shows where Rich and I yell at each other for the
Yeah,
first 45 minutes, and you and Ethan just look at your phones and wonder if we're recording.
I love it when Sebastian does put up the timer.
Yeah, it's like, yo.
But you gotta
Well, we'll try to.
Has to do.
That's
We'll
his
try to
nice
s-
way of telling you guys shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
well, I know.
Sebastian brings that structure.
No, I do it because if I could put a giant timer on the television, just so we all know how much I can look. Podcast. We all try and go like, oh, we want to keep this an hour. But then there are some days like this is 3 hours long. It's like nobody on planet Earth is going to finish this.
No, nobody in America will finish it.
Nobody in America.
But all of our listens in like Sri Lanka and Cambodia and other places that we've never heard
Dude,
of.
the Philippines love us right now. So does Great Britain. Apparently, any island really likes us right now.
It's kind of surprising with Great
All right,
Britain.
go Caymans.
Like I remember one show when you guys are going for like 3 hours and Ethan just went just like up and left. He's just like,
I'm out.
I like the shows when
Oh,
Ethan actually
peace.
falls
I'm
asleep
out.
on them. When we sit
I remember back when Ethan used to pass out.
yeah.
"Aw."
What I love is all the shows where the listener falls asleep listening to the show.
Hey, we can be asleep.
Ethan, what's your favorite part of the 3
There
years?
is no favorite part. I still don't know why I do this.
I was gonna say we
I don't even know why I'm here.
we bag on Ethan so much. I'm kind of surprised he still shows up.
Hey, he got me good playing the game the other night.
Yeah, but that wasn't on the show, was
That
it?
is
That
true.
was one of the best things ever. Remind me to tell you that story.
Yeah.
Because oh my god, that was
Oh, it
amazing.
was great.
Holy shit, we should play that
Mikey?
tonight. There's more than 4 people.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Mikey, what's your favorite part of being on the show?
Something to do on Sunday night.
Hey, but,
What's the best part
Again,
about our podcast?
I've known
I ain't
Mikey-
got nothing
I've
better
known
to
Mikey
do.
for almost 20 years. That's the most excited I've ever seen him say anything at all.
but you have to remember, Mikey brings the snack and
The
beer.
blunt talk.
Usually, most nights we're recording, so he brings all the.
Yeah, there's still one cinnamon bun in there. It was kind of odd.
There's more in there. There's a plenty.
Oh,
more.
you're gonna do.
Oh, there's
sweet,
a box, baby.
Sweet.
There's the challenge pack in
There's-
the other room.
Fuck that challenge.
There's a don't puke in an hour pack.
I have to admit, my favorite part about this is that we've been able to continuously doing it for 3 years, and there are people that actually listen, whether we think. so
Yeah,
or
your
not.
cousin, my best friend, and one of my workmany. So that's
One
it.
of my old teachers listened once.
and you listen to it over and over.
Oh, not over and over again. I just listen to it to figure out what the hell we're doing wrong, and then I give up about an hour into it, going, "That's this checklist is just too high. I can't figure it out."
Too many problems.
I think we should have Sebastian do a critical review of our show and just see what it is.
Oh my God, no, that'll kill him.
He just
That'll
gets here and
kill
you
him.
just you
It
just
would-
see that scroll like Santa's
In
naughty
big
list
letters,
going down
number
the thing.
one would just be time limit with underline underscore
100
exclamation point.
So, Shauna, what is your favorite part about being on the show?
Is it being asked what your favorite part of being on the show is?
Out of all the fun stuff?
Just because we ended it and now we're going back and we're putting this in, what's your favorite part?
Being with you guys.
Oh. Now I feel like a total another. I'm a total dick.
So that first person who writes the comments and says, "Wow, that host is a total dick," he's right.
Yes, he is.
Well,
Totally
no,
right.
that person who's putting the comment is probably going to be Shauna.
It's like Shauna, your name is visible, Shauna.
Shauna says he's a dick.
No, Rich is not a dick.
Wait,
It's okay,
wait,
Shauna.
say that again. I hit pause.
No, no,
I
don't-
said
no,
that. I said
don't
that
lie.
Rich is not a dick.
Oh,
thank
she
you.
lied.
He's an asshole.
The only thing I do wish is that if there are people that listen, or the people that do listen, that we would get some more comments or feedback into what the show is.
I don't know if you
Let
really
us
want
know
that.
how
I do.
terrible
I don't know if
think
you
we are.
really want
I
that
want,
at all.
I want to be.
So what if that first one is like, "Oh my God, this host is just a complete
fucking
idiot. It should
hate
get
never
that
him
do
so
it."
off the
much.
fucking air.
No,
Yeah.
he just turns into Cartman and has Butters take out all the negative shit. I don't want to hear it.
I gotta get my safe space. Safe space.
So on that note, we're going to wrap things up.
Thanks for being here for 3 years, Travis. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, being here
3 months
every
strong.
episode.
I think we should actually count up how many episodes out of 152 or whatever you said there
That I've been on.
that you've actually been on.
Do you know what the funny
Probably
thing?
like 70.
No.
Because I did a bunch of.
You can't think it's 70.
No, it's like.
Do you know what the funny thing is?
I was only gone for like 5 months, and you did one every 3 weeks.
What the funny thing is, when you were gone, Chris, Travis was here for every one of those shows.
Yeah, but that was
When
before you had like a
came
job.
back, when you came back, Travis was gone.
Oh yeah, Travis and I hate each other. I don't know if you've noticed all the shows we're on together. We barely talk to each other.
We
We never like riff off
We
each
don't
other at all.
interact. It's like, dear God, why did you put me in the same room?
So I want to thank all of you guys for being on the show.
Yeah, I want to
last
thank
3
Star
years.
Wars for giving us a subject every week.
Give us something to talk about
Our
every
one
week.
and only.
I want to thank Sebastian for being here to hate everything that we love.
Travis, have you seen the Rogue One trailer?
Of course. God, yes.
What'd you think?
It looks amazing.
Because
Looks
we haven't
great.
got your opinion of it.
No, it looks
I also
amazing.
want to thank non sequiturs and complete and utter tangents. Because somewhere in the middle of me thanking everything. Oh, by the way, Rogue One.
Let's talk
So,
about Rogue One, guys.
I think about 20 minutes ago we said we're going to wrap up. Is that right?
This is the wrap up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
we wanted
yeah.
to talk about
the
Prince
wrap
instead
up
of
is another hour.
yeah.
Oh,
We were going to talk about Prince instead of talking about like how we feel on the show that we've been
Alright.
doing for 3 years.
Well, thank you guys, and
Props.
hopefully we'll be able to expand this as we go along. So, on that note, remind everybody to check us out on Facebook.com/Nerdables.
You
We're
got it
also
right.
on Twitter
There we
at
go.
Nerdables Show.
Wow.
And you can listen to us on SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, and just about anywhere
Not
else that
those
they
other
play
guys
podcasts.
that we went
Podcast.
to for 2 weeks.
Podclaws?
Podcasts.
I don't,
Podclaws.
I don't think we're on them.
Is
I
that
don't think
Santa's
so.
like brother, Podclaws?
Podclaws. I bring you bad shit. Santa tell me which house is bad people. I bring coal.
So,
Okay,
and other
goodbye.
things.
Podclaws get presents from
Podcast
you.
get flowers.
so good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.